Let's go. Welcome everyone. My name is Deshaun. I'm known as Deshaun, the Auto Advisor. This is Car Shopping Questions and Answers. We do these streams throughout the week to make sure that you have the information you need to save more money on cars than everyone else is saving. That is the big issue. A lot of people are overpaying for cars. They don't know it, but we know it. And so I spent 14 years in the car business. So now what our mission is to make sure that you have the information you need to not just save a lot of money, but also save a lot of time. You don't need to spend more than 20 to 30 minutes in a car dealership at any time to save thousands and thousands of dollars. We've proven this, and that's what we're going to be going over. So the first thing we want to do, welcome to all those on Facebook, welcome to those on Instagram, welcome on YouTube, and welcome on TikTok. I want to go over as we, you can start to get, as I break this down, ask your questions, and we'll certainly get to your questions as we go through it. No questions off limits. But I want you to know the 7-step process that we've been using for 3 years that I really learned I learned this from being in the car business. I worked for 5 years with Mercedes, 5 years with General Motors. And we developed a system where you can get below market deals, which will save you thousands and you can do it from home. There's only 3. In fact, the dealers want you to be inside the dealerships trying to make a deal. That is, as dealers, we have much more leverage to make a deal when you're there than we do if you're not there. So the first thing you want to unlearn today, right now, is that you don't need to be in a dealership to save thousands of dollars. In fact, the only way you're going to guarantee you save thousands of dollars is to not be in the dealership, and it's to shop from home. That sounds like what everyone would want. But there is a specific way you need to do it, because the companies that own the websites, their goal is to sell your information, make it difficult for you to shop from home, and try to get you to go into the dealerships. That is their goal. What's up, Mildred? What's going on, Lashar Custom? Good to see you, Ellie. Good to see you, Caesar, BT Thoughts. Their goal is to get you in the dealership. So you have to now realize, if you're going to win, like I'm going to be showing you a lot of people over the next hour, people like Bonita, Greg, Danielle, Eddie, Kimberly, Charles, Sean, Pierre. We'll go over a lot of these people, Zafrina, in the next hour. I want everybody who shares, hit the share button, because if you grasp what I'm trying to get across to you right now, everything when it comes to your financial world with cars is going to change. There's 3 prices everyone could pay for any car. You could pay below market value, you can pay market value, you can pay above market value. Now, below market value, thank you for lighting up the likes on TikTok. Every time y'all double tap the screen, y'all run those likes up, and we appreciate you. I can't do this without you. So thank you to all of those who share. Shout out to the sharers. Below market value is where you save $5,000 to $8,000 to $10,000 on cars. $5,000 to $8,000 to $10,000. Market value, you might save $3,000 to $5,000, depends on the car. And above market value, you pay list price or above. So if we let's let the first 2 groups go into the dealership, spend their time into the dealership. We have a 7 steps process that you can do this 90% from home. The first thing we need to do is we need to know in this 7 steps, are we going to buy or lease? That's the first thing we need to know. That's the first thing we need to know. Everyone who's heard you should never lease a car, type a 1 in the chat. Type a 1 in the chat. Let's take a poll. Let's see how much info we could get in 60 seconds. Who's heard you should never lease a car? Type a 1. Type a 1 in the chat. All right, I see you, Miss Bateman. Hold on. We're going to let her type a 1 in the chat. Come on, everybody. Let's get up. Listen, shake everything off. You're not going to save $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 on cars being lazy and like sitting back. You're playing, you have to lock in. We have a saying here. Lock in. Let's get to it. We're talking serious business here. We're talking. I didn't gather you here on a live to talk with you about hundreds of dollars. We're not here to talk about hundreds. I'm not interested in hundreds of dollars. I'm not interested in helping you save hundreds of dollars on cars. That is not interesting. Everything that we do here is focused on thousands. So I want to hear from the people who you were taught never lease a car. I see you, 11 Frazier, Chaplain. If you were taught never lease a car, type a 1 in the chat. Type a 1 in the chat. Okay. Miss Bateman. Okay. Chaplain. All right. You're going to see that most of the people you know were taught the same thing. That is, in my opinion, why half of the people in this country are overpaying for cars. Half. I'll put money on it. They do not lease cars. There's 17 million new cars sold a year in a healthy market. There is 45 million used cars sold in a healthy market. 17 million new, 45 million used. You can only lease a new car most of the time. 99.9% of the time, your lease is new. So when you're leasing and you learn about how to get below market leases, you're going to be driving really nice, expensive cars, $30,000, $50,000 cars, and you're going to be, when you get great deals on them, you're going to be paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars less every month than these people who are paying, or who are, hold on, I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, than these people who are out here buying these cars. That's rule number 1. We have to get this across. The first step in the book, I have a book that is doing very well. It's very highly rated. Thank you to everyone who's reviewed it. The first step in the book is the 8-year rule. The 8-year rule. If you're not buying a car to keep it at least 8 years, you should be shopping for a below market lease. I just picked up a $54,000 vehicle. $54,000 QX. QX60. I gave them $1,200. My payment's $499 a month. Every lease I've ever had has been what we call a 1% lease deal. We can't, when you have, we'll get to that. I see you have bad experience leasing. We're going to get to that. I'm glad you said that. Remind us to come back to that. Nothing we can't get to the next stuff. We can't get to how to shop dealers and get thousands off until we get past knowing we should be leasing cars if we're not keeping them 8 years. This is rule number 1. I'm paying $499 for a $54,000 car. Deshaun, well, I drive 15,000 miles per year. Well, if I wanted to drive 15, I would be paying, instead of $499, I'd be paying probably $530, and I'd be driving 15,000 a year. Deshaun, well, I drive 18,000 a year. Okay, I'd be paying probably $560, and I'd be driving 18,000 miles a year. It's not about how much you drive. The people who taught you about leasing, they owe you money. They have cost you thousands and thousands of dollars that you can never get back, unfortunately. But I'm the bad news first person. I'm not the person who says, oh, you're doing so good, let me help you do better. No, I have to tell you, you are overspending by $200 to $500 per month because you don't understand leasing. $200 to $500, and you're driving older cars 3-year-old cars, 5-year-old cars, 7-year-old cars for the same prices, where if you just learn how to get great lease deals, you could be driving them with no money down. Let's get this out the way. Everything I'm teaching is in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. We are talking about step 1, the 8-year rule. If you are not buying your car to keep at least 8 years, you should be shopping for a below market lease deal, not a purchase. And you're going to save thousands and thousands of dollars just doing that. Before we talk about getting great deals, shout out to Facebook. Y'all quiet on Facebook and YouTube. Type 1s on Facebook and YouTube. Let me see where y'all at on Facebook. Let me know if you are clear, you're following what I'm saying so far. Type 1s in the chat. Leasing versus buying is the thing that has probably cost you the most money in your life on cars. More money than not being a good negotiator. Leasing versus buying has cost you more money than that. You're not keeping your cars 5 to 8 years. Instead of 17 million new cars a year sold in America, that number, 17 million, that number should be like 35 million. Because people are not keeping cars. They should not be tying up their money in cars. Let me give you an example. Stay by your keyboard, answer this question that I'm about to ask you. You go today, you drop $35,000 on a car, on a used car. Let's say it's a 3-year-old car, $35,000 on a 3-year-old used car. What is that $35,000 cash that you put in that car? What is that car going to be worth in 5 years? That $35,000 used car. What is that cash worth in 5 years? Throw some numbers out there. Let's go. Come on. I know I have some smart people on here. Let me talk to the people who, you don't have to be a genius to follow what we're talking about here. I would stand the reason that if we have some high schoolers on here, this is your first time buying a car, you're gonna learn more than our parents ever learned on this short conversation we're having. But I need you to tap in. All right, I see you. $5,000. I see you. $8,000. I see you. Enjoy life. $15,000. Okay, so check this out. So $35,000 that you trapped in a car. $35,000 that could have been in a piece of real estate. $35,000 that could have been in the stock market. It's trapped in a car. Not only when you go back in 5 years, can you not take the $35,000 out? It's not even $35,000 anymore. It's now worth 5 or 10 or 15. The depreciation is drastic and it's unforgiving. And the only people who should be buying cars are people who are keeping them until the wheels fall off. 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. Because that's how you get your money's worth out of them. You can't put 35 into a vehicle. It drops in value to 12. And then that's when you go and trade it and you do it again with another vehicle. This is how you are structuring your deals. And this is why, besides not saving the money, we haven't even gotten to that step yet. Getting the money off and the discounts. We have to understand structure first. I leased my first car. I was 22 years old. I was leasing a $20,000 or $21,000 Pontiac G6. I was paying $256 a month. It was the best thing in the world. How many of you, as your first car, instead of you paying $400 or $500 a month, or instead of having some $200 or $300 a month hoopty, or instead of buying some $1,500 a month cash vehicle, would have liked to have it where you could drive a new car for $256 a month plus your insurance? Maybe your parents help you out with the insurance. Maybe your parents pay the $200 a month, $200-300 a month, whatever it's good, the $200 a month insurance, and you pay the car payment. This could be better than you putting your child who's in college in a 10-year-old Honda that might still end up breaking down. It's not even a question. It's not even a question. Look at India. India got the Hyundai Elantra Limited for $365 a month. Look, the Hyundai Elantra Limited with the leather, 36 months, $12K, $365 a month, no money down. Look, this is what we do. She ain't going to a dealership to get that done. She gets it done from home, making dealers bid, but she's not getting $365 a month unless she has a phenomenal way to get below market leases. $365 a month, no money down. It's people, it's some of you are paying $500 a month for your car payment. If we be honest, if I ask, what is throw out some numbers. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not even gonna do it. I don't want to embarrass anyone. I know I know. I'm in the industry. I've been in the car business since 2016, since 2006. I know what the data says. I know what the data says. I know what the average car payment is. These things are happening because you were never taught deal structuring. You were taught by a bunch of people who never understood leasing that, hey, don't tie up that car, you're renting it. You want to buy that depreciating asset that's going to be worth half of what you're buying it for in 3 years. It's going to be worth 70, it's going to be worth 25% of what you're buying it for in 6 years. And then after that, it's going to be worth probably about 10%, 15% of what you bought it for, but then it just stays there. It'll never go below 10, 15%. It'll stay worth $5,000 forever. It could be 12 years old. It's going to still be worth, $3,000. That's the whole point. That's when you beat depreciation. That's when you buy your cars. That's your goal. You buy your cars. You don't lease your cars if that's your goal. But you should not, if you're not ready for maintenance and long-term maintenance and long-term care and investing in your vehicle and paying and keeping it a long time, then you're spending thousands of dollars buying these vehicles. You should not be buying them. Okay, so all of this is laid out in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home. We're going to get to some questions. We know we got a lot of questions. I see you all. We're going to get, Dolan's going to start pulling your questions in about 2 minutes. So you can type your questions now. Hang on, Dolan, not quite yet. Everything we're talking about, that's step 1 in the Cars from Home 7-step process. So step 1 is the 8-year rule. And if you're not buying your car to keep it 8 years, you should be shopping for a below market lease. If you're keeping it at least 8 years or more, you should shop for a purchase. My new digital book spells out our entire system. It's the ultimate blueprint to do it yourself. Car buying, leasing, new cars, used cars from home. Hence why the name is called Cars from Home. So you can get a copy of it. It's normally $97. You can get a copy as part of my welcome offer to you. You can get it for 75% off, but it's only for 30 minutes. So you can get to my TikTok bio. As long as the timer hasn't hit 0, click the button in my TikTok bio. There's a link there in my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. And as long as you get there before the 30 minutes, you get a copy of Cars from Home. 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships for $24 instead of the $97. Now, as soon as you pay, make sure you screenshot the thank you page. There's a it says screenshot this page because some of you type your email incorrectly, and then we can't email your book because you typed the email wrong. So you'll have my support team's email. They're there Monday through Friday. Reach out to them, get your book, but try to type your email in correctly. We deliver a lot of books. The system works. And you'll also, on that same page, have the link to open the book. So you might want to save it right there to your phone or to your computer. So you'll get it, 2 ways. Okay, so go grab your copy before the 30 minutes is up. You get it for $24 instead of the normal $97. Now, $97 is still worth every penny. This will be the most valuable book, one of the most valuable books financially you've ever owned. That is my guarantee. And you can read the reviews online. Okay, let's go, Dolan. Bring in the first couple questions. You guys can start typing. Start typing your questions if you have them, and we'll start getting to as many as we can. When the lease was up, took the car in. They said I wasn't qualified to purchase the vehicle, yet they sold me another used car. Later was sued for damages for a car I never had. There's a couple things here that look pretty bad. Let's start from the beginning. When the lease was up, took the car in, they said I wasn't qualified to purchase the vehicle. So if you had some credit challenges, you may have not been qualified to buy that vehicle with a traditional bank. But they maybe they tried to put you in a car that you didn't want, that they could get you approved on. And so what happens is, you didn't want the car, but that's the only car they can get you the loan on. And so that ends up being a bad experience for everyone, because you're now taking a car, you didn't see the market, you didn't see your options, and now you have a bad loan. You don't have a chance to shop the market. Part of why you're overspending, and this is the case for many people, you're not shopping the market. You're not seeing 5 to 7 offers for your loans. You're not seeing 5 to 7 offers before you buy a car. You're not seeing 5 to 7 offers before you trade your car. That's most of the problem. You're not shopping the market. This is all things that can be done from home. That's what we teach, but it's simple to do. You just have to unlearn that old process of what you were taught. So yeah, it just seems like from the get-go, you should have been following a plan of someone that doesn't have perfect credit, and then you would have followed whatever options you had, whatever your best options would have been at that time. That would have been the plan for you. But it should be things that a person with 720, a person with 700 score can qualify for most leases. A person with a 600 score can't. So the person with a 600 score should not have the same plan as the person with the 700 score. That's why in my digital book, there are paths for people who have the 600 score, for people who have the 800 score, for people who want to pay cash. Everyone's plan is not the same. But yeah, that was the first thing. You should have been moving on a path at this particular point. It's saying, I don't know if you had a chance to recover your credit, but if you need a car, you would still be shopping for a path of a person who doesn't have good credit. There are options for you. The goal is to not, overpay for your loan, your car and your loan. When you have bad credit, you're going to pay a high interest rate, but that should be the only thing you pay for. You can still get a great price on the car. You should get a below market price on the car, but a high interest rate. And that's not what happens. Most of the time, you go and you pay a high interest rate, and then the same car you could have gotten for $18,000, you pay $20,000 for it. So you give the dealer $20,000 and a high interest rate. You should have found that car for $18,000 and then just paid the high interest rate. You got to separate your loan from the car purchase. So these are things that we teach in a step-by-step manner. But, there's a lot there. You need a plan. Stop winging it. Stop winging a 5-figure transaction. Go ahead, Dolan. If I lease a 2020 Toyota RAV4, what should my payment and residual be? We don't focus on residual. We do shop the payment according to the 1% rule. So everyone who's savvy with leases understands the 1% rule. For those of you who don't know what it is, if your lease payment is 1% of the MSRP or less, no money down, you have a steal. So if you're looking at a $30,000 car, if your lease payment is $300 a month or less, it's a steal. It's a steal. There's incredible value When you add up all of those payments, the amount you paid to drive that vehicle is going to be incredibly low. Incredible deal. That's the 1% rule. Now, we estimate a good deal to be 1.25. 1.5 is where we cap it. So I created the 1.5% rule when it came to bad lease deals, because we knew about the 1% rule, but we didn't know about bad lease deals. And I just saw, especially during the pandemic, but almost any time, people driving around with leases and they've overpaid for them. And now they don't see any benefit in leasing. They say, well, I might as well just buy because the payment I'm paying is almost the same as a purchase. Yeah, that's because you overpaid. It shouldn't be that way. I'm paying $499 a month for my Infiniti QX60. That vehicle to purchase on a 6-year loan, even a 5-year loan, $54,000 vehicle, say big discount, let's say 50, 45, that's $900 a month minimum with no money down. Minimum. I'm paying $499. It's not even close. So yeah, when you're not getting below market lease deals, you can't. Yeah, you drive. Now if I took that same price and I put the 1.5% rule in, where you take the MSRP, you take the total MSRP. Whenever you look at a vehicle that you're thinking about leasing, you want to take the total MSRP. Let's say it's $40,000, and then we know what the 1% rule would be: $400 a month. So 1% rule would be $400 a month. That means if I could get that vehicle, no money down, 12,000 miles per year, $400 a month. Now I want to go to the 1.5% rule. Take that same 40,000, multiply by 0.015. That's 600. So 600 is the max where I'm walking away from the deal. There's no value there if it's above 600. It's just no value. We add up all of those payments, $650 a month times 3 years. We never do a 4-year lease. We're paying too long for a vehicle that we're giving back. Too long. So these are the parameters we use to make sure, to guarantee that we're getting the best deals in the market. Now we got the 4. So now what I would do if I'm looking at a $40,000 vehicle, I know that my range for a deal is $400 to $600 a month. That's what I know. No money down. I'm looking for that deal to be somewhere between 4. Now, you're not going to look. You have to. We do it easily because we shop from home. You got to get 5 offers to know what the bottom of the market is. You're going to hear me. You're going to hear us discuss here in this community, because this is a community. We've got thousands of people who've used the Cars from Home system for the last 3 years since we came to TikTok. This is a community, but there are people who take it more serious than others. And the people who take it more serious than others, they get way better deals. See, you can't get, let's look at Zafrina. Zafrina got a 0.88% lease. This is one of the best lease deals I've ever seen. Look, it's a $66,000 truck, $65,950. So $66,000 truck, she's paying $579 a month. So if she went in and her goal was to pay 1%, if she would have went in and said what Deshaun said, because I never did, that my goal should be 1%. No. Then she would have went in, she would have left out paying $659 a month, $660 a month would have been her payment at 1. That's 1%. She got almost $100 less than that, because you have to shop the market. Maybe the best deal is 1%. Maybe it's 1.2. Maybe it's 1.4. But the only way for you to know the best deal in the market is you have to see other higher offers. When you're sitting here, and this is the peace of mind you're going to have using the Cars from Home system. When you're sitting here and you're looking at 5 offers or 7 offers, you are going to love how easy it is to pick the best offer. It's beautiful. All you're doing is looking at those 5 to 7 offers. When we're looking at used cars, we're looking at used cars and, narrowing it down to our top 5. And we're looking at the price range from the low side of the market to the high side of the market. And we pick the best one. When we're looking at new cars, we're getting 5 to 7 offers from home using a computer, talking to these dealers through their website. Never got to talk to them, just sending them what we want and communicating with them by email. You need a separate email to do this because you don't want dealers mixing with your personal email, and you're getting 5 offers, maybe 7. And next thing you know, you're like Sean and you're like Zafrina and you got a 0.88% lease. Or Sean got $20,000. Kimberly got $20,000 off of her Maserati that she was bought. Look, this was one of her offers. You can't see this on TikTok, but if you're on Instagram, on Facebook, or on YouTube, you can see this. This was one of Kimberly's offers. People out here struggling in dealerships. Please help us, please. Struggling. Look at what she's doing from home. $86,000 Maserati. Total savings, $20,700. Saving more money from home than somebody could ever negotiate. This is how you get the best deals. It happens from home. So everything that we're teaching, everything we're talking about is in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home. 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. You can Google it. Thank you to everybody who has taken the time to review the book, to rate it on Goodreads. It does mean a lot. And the book's normally $97. It's a digital book, so you can have it in your inbox immediately. But as part of my welcome offer, you can get your copy for 75% off, which is $24. But it's only for 30 minutes. So if you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, we have or the Facebook comments, you can get your copy for $24. Now, also what you'll see there is for those of you who prefer a done with you type learning, you would rather work together with me, there's an option in there for you guys to look into that. Depends on, now, everyone's not going to qualify for that. In my book, that's the blueprint for everybody. Bad credit, high mileage drivers. Ask questions because we haven't, Dolan, I know you got more questions, so we'll get to them. But hold on, keep that there. But I want you to know the blueprint for bad credit is different, than the blueprint for high mileage drivers. If you drive 18, 20,000 miles per year or more, there's specific things you cannot do. You're losing way more money. Way more money. Thank you, Sailor Moon fan. Great cartoon, by the way. Great name. You're losing way more money than the average person is losing. All of the losses I just talked about, you high mileage drivers, you are losing thousands more than the normal people because you're depreciating the car way faster than everyone else is. So there's specific strategies on how you want to approach your car purchase in there. Negative equity. Some of you bought cars in the last 3-4 years that you need to replace or you're trying to replace, and you have, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 in negative equity. That's a specific strategy. Some people don't have to deal with that baggage. So this is why the book, the blueprint, is everything you need to get below market deals. But for those of you who would like to shop with me and look at coaching, you see me share a lot of the people who work with me in our Facebook group. We have over 1,500 people in our Facebook group in the last 3 years. You can get that information by clicking the same link in my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. But you're going to click the link that says shop with me, Deshaun. So other than that, let's bring in, but that wraps up your question. We don't focus on residuals. We focus on shopping by the percentage when we're shopping for a lease. Specifically, we are focused on shopping by the percentage. When we review our offers, we're reviewing them by the percentage in comparison to the 1% rule. Okay, great question. Go ahead, Dolan. Shout out to the sharers. Shout out to everybody who's hitting the like button. We appreciate you. Let me take some time and shout out the sharers on TikTok is the only platform that shows me the sharers. Thank you, Denisha Gills. Appreciate you sharing. Elizabeth Lewis, thank you for sharing. Appreciate you, Baby Skate. Thanks for sharing. Silas Richardo, thanks for sharing. CJ, thank you for sharing. Cookie Monster, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Okay, thanks for sharing the broadcast. If anybody else shared, I appreciate it. But TikTok, that's the only they're the only ones that show me the names of the people who shared. Okay, what Wilfredo, still reading the book, by the way. Awesome. We'll pull, if he had a question, let's pull that in as well. All right, Jaleesa speaks. Is there any car brand that you would deem to be most liable and or the best long-term investment for transportation? Well, there's several that have a history of long-term reliability. Honda and Toyota, they have led the quality, two things, quality and low cost of ownership. They've led those charts for so long, Honda and Toyota. Now, if you say, well, you want to go with something a little more fancy, then you would go Acura and Lexus, which is Honda and Toyota's luxury brands. Now, at the same time, if you're open to other vehicles that have a long warranty, Kia and Hyundai have the longest warranty in the industry, and they're making some incredible vehicles lately. They're really, really penetrating the market. I mean, Hyundai and Kia they've become, probably from sales wise, Mazda, the growth of those three brands has been incredible, and it's because I think they put a lot of quality into. They try to put a lot of quality into the vehicles. Their styling is great. They're leading when it comes to how they style and design their vehicles. But but we would not make a decision. This is part in our 7-step process, in the Cars from Home 7-step process. We have a step 4 is something we call shopping, not buying. And we do a quality assessment on these vehicles because any vehicle could have bad DNA. Bad DNA means it's going to have problems because that's the way it was made. And it has a high likelihood of having problems because that's the way it was made. You know, if the 2022, and this is year specific, who's heard never buy a vehicle the first year they make it? Who's heard that? This is a saying that, you know, it was wisdom from back in the day. Who's heard that? Never buy a vehicle the first year that it comes out. Who's heard that? Okay, so this is a common thing. So now when you consider, well, you don't even want to buy a vehicle the first year the transmission is, you know, if a vehicle has a new transmission, if a vehicle has a new engine, if a vehicle has a new suspension or steering system, all of these are things that could be problematic. So that's why we always want to check and type in the specific name and the year of the vehicle we're looking at. So Jaleesa, if you're looking at the Cadillac XT6, you would type in 2020, whatever the year is, 2022 Cadillac XT6. If you're looking at a new one, you would type in 2024, 2025 Cadillac, 2026 Cadillac XT6. That is what you're doing. And you're then putting reliability. So 2025 Cadillac XT6 reliability. You know, that's going to tell you if there's any public data that should be alarming, any red flags. You're just going to skim the first page of Google. Once you skim the first Google page, that'll tell you what you need to know in most cases. Just look at the articles. Do you see anything that, you know, stands out? You know, electric problems, you know, lower than average reliability scores. You want to do this for reliability and initial quality. 2024, 2025, 2026 Cadillac XT6 initial quality. This is so simple. These things I'm telling you, because we get cars in 90 minutes, 2 hours. We get these deals. Listen, everyone's not taking a long time. When they're using, look at Ansley's deal. He said, I started the process Saturday, accepted a deal Monday. If you're car shopping and you like, I need a car in 3 days or in a week, that's what we do here. We're the best in the world because we are masters of comparison shopping. Masters of comparison shopping in a very short period of time. But these are 5-minute things we do to check to make sure we don't go out and get a great deal on the car, great price on the car, and then the car is in the shop every 4 months. Every 4 months, the dealer has to send a flatbed, or the roadside assistance has to send a flatbed to pick up the car. So when we look at, long-term Honda, Toyota, but if you're open to other brands, there's several brands that have, really tried to enter the long-term race of making great vehicles, putting a 10-year warranty on their vehicles, which is unheard of. That's Hyundai and Toyota. Hyundai and Kia. And then, but each vehicle you would check in specifically, independent of everything else, you're checking each vehicle to see what the write-ups are on that vehicle, not just the brand. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Brand new to you and you're live. Welcome. What's a basic credit score needed to start with a lease? Usually, I would say above 660. You can, but it's not just score. If it's profile. So let's say you are 660. One of the strongest things that you can have on your profile is on-time car payments. When people see on-time car payments, banks feel much more comfortable. If you were just paying $400 a month for 2 years on time, they feel much more comfortable giving you a $400 a month lease payment. Now, another thing, you're not wait, let me go here first. So if you have a strong profile, which is one of the heftiest things is a on-time car payments for the last 2 years, or high income, predictable income, high salary, high income. So you got a 640 score, but you make 120,000. That's part of your profile. But I like to see people get out of that manipulation zone. That manipulation zone is anywhere from 660 to probably about 650 to 680. Once you see that manipulation, they might tell you didn't get approved tier 1. That's why you got to have backup offers. So if somebody tells you didn't get approved tier 1, they might say, oh, the payment goes up $100, but it's not supposed to go up $100. Maybe it's not even supposed to go up. They're just taking a shot at you because they know you don't know better, but you got a second offer. Hey, well, look, I got to check with the second offer. Can you call and see? And we do all of this from home. I even have a script in my book for what to say when they tell you you're not approved tier 1. Now, I don't have many scripts. Most of the scripts we use, if not all of them, are for talking to managers. We're not speaking to car salespeople. So we are using scripts. The only time we're speaking with car salespeople is if we're setting up a test drive. And once we set up that test drive, that's it. Obviously, when we come in to pick up the car, a car salesman is going to help us. But all of our everything is done from home. Nothing is done with salespeople. And really, there's no talking. So if you're somebody who you don't like talking, you don't want to try to remember what to say, then the Cars from Home system, you're just like the people who've come before you. Teddy, none of these people like talking to dealers, going to dealers. Look, Jen, Rosalie, You know, I think we get a balance of men and women. Tasha, Pierre, Ansley, you know, and you see that you could see their deals. You know, some of you could see their deals. So the point is, you know, all of this is in the blueprint that I wrote. It's called Cars from Home. It's my new digital book, Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. We spent a lot of the first 20 minutes talking about the first step in our process, which is leasing versus buying. If you missed that, you could go watch the replay on some of these other platforms. You cannot get great deals if you don't understand. Stop buying cars if you're not keeping them 8 years. You are losing thousands and thousands of dollars. There's no way. We went on it. You know, we'll go deep on it on another stream, but you can watch the replay. There's no way for you to get a great deal. That's probably why some people are asking about, you know, wanting to make sure that they have the credit to lease, because that's what we spent the first 20 minutes really hammering, is that, you know, in my opinion, I think 30% of the population is buying when they should be leasing, just because they don't understand it. They don't understand how to structure their lease, pick the correct mileage, and they don't understand how to shop for leases to make sure they don't get they're not overpaying for a lease. So, but yeah, everything is laid out in my book, step by step. You're going to know exactly how to get below market lease deals, below market new cars, below market pre-owned cars. These are different strategies. Bad credits in there. You don't have to worry. You have an exact path for if you have bad credit, high mileage, negative equity. And normally the book's $97, but as part of my welcome offer, you can get yours for the next 30 minutes for $24, 75% off. That's my welcome offer for 30 minutes. So go grab yours. In my TikTok bio, there's a link. My Instagram bio, there's a link. The YouTube comments or the Facebook comments, get there before 30 minutes. You got your copy for $24. You can see by the reviews, if you Google the book and read the reviews, the book is worth every bit of $97. But, you know, if you get there before 30 minutes is up, $24 is better. Make sure as soon as you pay, you screenshot the thank you page. Sometimes you type your email wrong. We're going to email you a copy, but we have a great email system, but sometimes the email is wrong. Make sure you check your spam for the book. Sometimes if you don't see that book in 5 minutes, check the spam or the junk folders. But then you'll also have my support team. As soon as you buy the book, screenshot that page that has my support team's email. Monday through Friday, reach out to them and they'll make sure you get your book. You also, lastly, as soon as you pay, there's a link for you to open your book right on the page there. It'll say, click this link to open your book, and you can save it right to your phone or to your computer. Okay, for those of you who want to look at shopping and seeing if you qualify to shop together with me, we have a program where you can just go to those same links and you can hit Shop with Deshaun, see if you qualify, and watch that short video, and then we'll let you know if we can work together in a different learning format. We always like to say, we're going to make sure the information is available for you, but everyone learns differently. Some people, you're a do-it-yourself person. Some people, you're a do-it-done-with-you person. You like to do things with community. That's why we have over 2,000 people with you that have come before you. We have over 1,500 people in our private Facebook group. We have dozens of people on our private Zoom calls. That might be better learning style for you to learn the Cars from Home system. It doesn't matter. You might be able to just sit and watch the lives and just watch our live stream, put it together, piece it together, and you're getting below market deals that way. It doesn't matter. We just want to make sure that you have what you need to get below market deals. All right. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's go. If asked, would you go with someone to purchase a vehicle? So we actually have, we're testing a new program. It's not even a test. We've tested it already twice in the last 3 years. We have to make sure, we had to make sure before we launched this done for you solution that we had the team and the staff. So that program is not a program that we can let everyone into, and it's not a program. It's sometimes we're going to have to close it because we can only take a few people at a time. But if you go to those links, you'll also see a button that says shop for me. You can also visit the same links in my YouTube comments, Facebook comments, the TikTok bio, or the Instagram bio. You'll see a button that says shop for me, and that you can book a call. You book a call with the team and see if you qualify for the shop for you. So as I said, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for anyone to be overpaying for cars at this particular point. You have tons of free information that I'm going to put out. You can get your questions answered on this stream. You can write all of this stuff down. You can watch 30 live streams, piece it together, and you will get the same deals that you're seeing a lot of people get that I share, and the same deals I'm going to get. Or you could get the blueprint, get your copy of Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships, and you have the written blueprint step by step for all types of car deals, leases, purchases, new cars, everything. Or we could do it for you, or we could do it with you. There's no excuse for you to be out here having anxiety concerning car buying anymore and overpaying and having buyer's remorse. Okay, go ahead, Dolan. Do you have to have a long credit line to lease a car? No, again, like I said, you want to try to be between you want a minimum, you want to try to be between 650 and 680. That's going to help you qualify for most mainstream lease programs. But the stronger your profile, if you have a car payment that you've paid on time for 2 years, or you have a home mortgage, that's going to, in the 650 to 680 range, that's going to really help you to stay out of the manipulation zone. Anything above 680, though, you're usually getting tier 1, no problem on most leases. So, yeah, great question. Go ahead, Dolan. Thank you for running the likes up. Every time y'all tap the screen on TikTok, you'll see those likes continue to go up. And TikTok tells more people about the show, brings more people to the stream. We help more people save money. And we help people unlearn what the car business has been programming us to do for all of these years. So thank you. Continue to double tap the screen every time you hear something that you like. And, hitting the like button does matter. Appreciate you. And shout out to the sharers. Welcome to the new followers. I see you. Welcome, R. Timmel. I see you. Welcome to the community. Toy for real. Thank you. Welcome to the community. Luna, Oz, welcome to the community. I see you. Cam, welcome to the new followers. Shout out to the people who just followed the movement. All we care about here is making sure that you pay less than everyone else for cars. Hi from Mississippi. Good to see you. Shout out to hi from New Jersey. Great to see you. Hello, Mississippi. All right. Is the last week of the year a good time to get a good deal on a car? It's a good, no. And let me tell you this, yes and no, but I'm going to say most. Here's the thing. Car dealerships, we have made a fortune with marketing. It's one of the best marketed businesses in the world is a car dealership. It's regional marketing, it's nationwide marketing, on the radio, billboards, television, social media. It's so good, and it makes people think, come in at the end of the month, come in during the holidays, you're going to somehow get a better deal. The problem with that logic is this. The deals that you see, look, when I share deals like India's deal, $365 a month on her limited. When I share Milligan got a $27,000 discount on her vehicle. $27,000 discount. These are not deals. These are deals. Now, listen close to what I'm about to say. This is very important. These are deals that the dealers only accepted because at that particular moment, they were a little desperate. At that particular, look at Milligan's deal. I'm zooming in on it. $79,000 vehicle, Her adjusted price is $51,359. If you can see it up on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can see it. 27. This was a deal where at that particular time, the dealer was a little desperate. It's the same thing with everybody else. Same thing with Ansley's second car that he got his BMW. Jen, everybody that I see, we're positioned. So what is the you could take that down, Dolan, that question. I'm still taking care of this one. So when it comes to the end of the month and the end of the year, you're not getting there's no desperation. When there's 200 people, let me put it like this. Dealers know exactly how many appointments we have before the weekend ends. We go into Friday. How many appointments do we have for, if it's a holiday Monday, like a President's Day or a Labor Day or Memorial Day? We know 400 appointments. Why? Where's the desperation there? We only have a certain amount of cars. So where there's no desperation when we only have a certain amount of cars, and that's what we're doing. We have this many people. There's no desperation. That's why you're not getting a better deal when you have somebody right behind you who could pay more money for that car if you don't accept the price. Hey, listen, Mr. Jones, sorry if you don't want the car at this price, but look, you see we got a showroom full of people. It's a big sale. We got people walking out. There's nobody to help them. Listen, if you don't want the car, no problem. You can think about it. They're rushing. There's no desperation. The car business has done a great job of doing that on Saturdays, holidays, end of the year. They're going to pack the showrooms. They're going to sell their cars. There's no desperation there. All right. So no, this is all about what you want to do is position yourself. Let us show you how to position yourself in the market, get the questions answered that you need answered. Make sure that whether you're buying a new car, used car, or a lease, you are positioned and you know the market. You've seen the 5 to 7 options so that you know you are paying less than everyone else. You're guaranteeing it. You're not hoping. You're guaranteeing it. There's a very big difference between using the Cars from Home system to shop the market so that you can guarantee savings, guarantee the biggest discount, than going in and negotiating with one dealer or two dealers. We're going to show you how to negotiate online with 25 dealers without ever talking to them. We're going to show you how to look at used cars like we're shopping on Amazon and narrow it down. And then verify if there's any fake sellers or bogus sellers that are charging, fake fees that they shouldn't be charging. We do all of this from home. Your power is home. So all of this is in my new digital book. You can get your copy as part of my welcome offer for 75% off. It's normally $97. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You should not be in a dealership more than 20 to 30 minutes. And we never talk numbers in the dealership. You can get your copy for 75% off, which is $24, but it's only for 30 minutes. It's normally $97. You can get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. Grab your copy, 75% off. That's $24. Make sure you screenshot the thank you page so you'll have my support team's email Monday through Friday. Just in case your book doesn't come, you type your email wrong, you have my support team's email. But that email is not for questions. It's just for you making sure you get your book. All right. So let me hop off. Great live today. Great chat. We went deep on a lot of subjects. I look forward to seeing all of you inside. If you're working with us, I look forward to seeing you on the next stream. And God bless you. Keep up the great work. And let's keep unlearning and relearning so we can keep this money in our bank account. Keep these thousands in our bank account and out of these cars. All right. God bless y'all. All right, I'm excited today because I am fresh off buying a couple cars myself. I've been teaching for years how people can just, if they learn, get incredible car deals from home without spending hours in car dealerships. Just got my father a vehicle, um, Hyundai Palisade he picked up last night. I got an Infiniti QX60 2 weeks ago, $8,000 off the price of the vehicle. I don't know exactly how much he said because I didn't look at how much off on that Hyundai. I do know there's no one driving a Palisade less than him. He got a $48,000 Palisade, $499 a month, $49,000. These require huge discounts. What's up, Michelle Morris? What's up, Stevie P? This stuff is the stuff that I mean, we literally, even as my dad was picking up the vehicle, he was just like, man, you really do this stuff. And I'm like, and I've gotten cars for him for years, you know what I'm saying? I've gotten cars for him for many years. But to see that many of you, here's your problem. You're totally impatient. I want to help you through that. That's why every time you see me, you see unlearn, relearn. But what I find is that you guys, unfortunately, you've been programmed. And I can't say it nicer than that. I need to let you know, as a former car salesman for I've been in the car business since I was 22, 2006. I've worked for the biggest brand in the world in Mercedes and the top 3 dealerships in the nation at Ray Catena and Edison. Yankee Stadium, 2011, where $300,000 was what most people were making who had been there. So I came at 28 into the top of the top. I'm telling you as an insider that you can do this. You can do everything that I teach. You can do everything the people that have learned from us teach. You see, I'm going to be sharing dozens and dozens of people beside myself, but because I just got a couple cars, obviously I'm going to come on and talk about the money we just saved right here. Both deals that I just made were made right here. Where you see me at, where I do these streams from, if I showed you my emails, you would see, wow, Deshaun, all the work was done right here. That's how I want you moving. That's why our entire system is called Cars from Home. It's a mindset. It's not just a process, it's a mindset. I saw people in those dealerships as I was picking up these cars and they were miserable in there, sweating and some of them outside smoking cigarettes, stressed. This is like, you're literally giving a company 5 figures, $10,000 to $100,000, and you're outside like this. So what we're going to talk about over the next hour is the Cars from Home system, how it's been. This is proven. What we got to get you to is to where you believe in yourself. See, I don't have a problem when people don't believe in me because there's so much about me out there. It's proven. Somebody can say, hey, go here. Do you realize Deshaun, the auto advisor, is the only person that you can find, if you look, hundreds of people who use his stuff and actually save money from home. So it's not that I'm not trustworthy. It's not that when you see people who we share in our streams, Tope and Bonita and Greg and Danielle and all these people sharing their car deals, it's not that you don't believe that these are real car deals. It's not like you're saying, hey, did he make those up? It's not that. We got to get you to believe that you can do this. And that's what we want to talk about, is how simple this is. We obviously will answer questions, so you guys can start typing your questions. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. But I want you guys to know that this is something where you can leave your strategies at the door. Everything we'll be teaching today is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's the entire blueprint. So it's the step-by-step blueprint to get the results that I get, that the hundreds of people that you have seen get, and for you to have anxiety-free, buyer's remorse-free car deals that save you thousands and thousands of dollars. So if that's something that you are interested in, hit the like button so I know who I'm talking to. Hit the like button, keep tapping the screen. On TikTok, if that's something that you're interested in, let me know I'm talking to the right people. Let me know I'm talking to the right people. Raquel, what's up, Sally, Tawana, Gummy Bears? Let me know I'm talking to the right people. Okay, double tap the screen. All right, am I talking to the right people? Am I talking to people who care about their money, who like Deshaun? Give me the strategies. Don't hold back. Let's do this. I care about my money. I see it. All right, y'all keep running those likes up. Okay. While we're on the stream, you guys can get your copy of Cars from Home, 75% off. It's normally $97. That blueprint that I'm going to be talking about, it's in my TikTok bio. It's in my Instagram bio. We put a link in the comments on YouTube and a link in the comment on Facebook. That's going to get you 75% off. So you won't pay the $97. You get there before the 30 minutes is up because it's only for 30 minutes. You get it for $24. It'll be in your inbox by the time we finish the show. And you can also now screenshot that thank you page. And you'll see as soon as you pay, there's a link at the bottom of that page to open the book. So you can save it there, save it to your computer, but I also email you a copy. Okay, Dolan, let's get the first question in. Guys, you can keep typing your questions as we go through the show. Love the book. Thank you, JC. I was wondering, can you use the same strategy you teach also when trying to get a below market lease on an exclusive car that will need to be ordered to get all the options I want? If I'm ordering an exclusive car, right now we're using this, we're shopping for a customer with a Range Rover Autobiography. Doesn't matter. I'm talking to dealers in six, our team is talking to dealers in six states. Exclusive, more reason to actually use competitive shopping because the numbers are larger. When you see the premiums that some of these dealers are charging for exclusive cars, 100,000, 50,000 over list price, the potential for you to save or overpay is greater. So absolutely, competitive shopping is something you should do with any vehicle from whether it's a Hyundai Elantra base model or whether it's a $400,000 Lamborghini. Competitive shopping, because each dealer is individually owned and operated and they set their own prices. So the key to saving the money fast from home is making them compete. Okay, definitely. Never want to put ourselves in a position where we're looking at one dealer who has convinced us they have the only car. If I'm ordering a car too, JC, good thing about ordering is everyone can bid. When you get an exclusive car, dealers get something called allocation. That means I only might get 3 Range Rover Autobiographies a quarter or a month. I'm sorry. I might only get 3 G-Wagons a month. So some dealers have used that. They don't have allocation, so they can't put an order in. But other than that, we use a strategy called the 25 to 5. For new cars and leases, we connect with 25 dealers online. You know that, JC, because you have the book. You can do that with an order. You do it before you place the order because now you have a bunch of dealers who can bid. When you go do that strategy, not everyone's going to have a car you want, but on an order, pretty much everyone could get a bid in. And I remember we had somebody who was getting a brand new BMW. I think it was an X4M when they first redesigned it. And she used the strategy, and every dealer wanted list price or over list, and the best offer she got was $3,000 off. So there are dealers who want the unit, but you got to be patient. You got to be positioned. Okay. And what we do is help you get, be positioned. Okay. Great question. Go ahead, Dolan. Keep typing your questions. Simply Trick. What's up? Shout out to the people on TikTok, Matthew Forrest. If you want to talk cars, if you're ready to talk money, then come on in, get your mind right. We're talking money here. We are talking big money. I'm not here to talk to you guys about hundreds of dollars. I don't care about hundreds of dollars. God bless you. I know there's some people who will sit on the stream to figure out how they're going to save a couple $100. Times are tough for some people. Respect. That's not what we're here to talk about. Every mistake you're making with your car deals, it's costing you thousands of dollars each time. You think when you buy that car and then, it broke down, or you buy that car and you find out you overpaid for it, that's not $1,000 mistake. That's a $5,000 to $10,000 mistake we're making because we unfortunately have been taught to wing the second most expensive process we'll ever be involved in. Most of us, most expensive process is our home purchase. But all of us, even some of us, you haven't bought a home, you can see cars have been your most expensive purchase in life. And unfortunately, the industry has taught you to wing it. Just, play it by ear and feel. No, we don't do that. That's how you end up making the dealers 5-10 grand, huge commissions. And unfortunately, it's at your detriment. So if you're serious about that not being you, then tap in, tune in, lock in. Would you put a large down payment down on a used car? I would. When we consider down payments, this is a great question. You want to consider what are the rates, and can we actually pay the car off sooner versus use the bank's money if the rates are high. If the rates are high, 5, 6, 7, 8%, 10%, for some of you, this is not a time to borrow the most. The time to borrow the most is when the rates are cheap. If they're giving you 0%, I used to have people, and now listen, this is conflicting information. You'll hear people like, I'm not gonna mention names. God bless them, they have the best intentions. Unfortunately, they're not taking into account real financial advice. You hear people say always pay cash for cars. When I was I'm fortunate that when I worked at the dealerships I worked at, I always worked in blue collar, white collar towns. And I worked with people who, worked on Wall Street. So a lot of customers from Wall Street, $300,000-$400,000 a year or more. But I also had clients who, customers who had $30,000 a year jobs. So we've seen everything in between. When people would sit down and they would say, hey, I would say, how are you going to pay for the car? They say, well, what are the rates? And if the rates were 0% or 0.9% or 1.9, then most times they were using the bank's money because it made financial sense. Why? Because if I put my money in the car, this $30,000 I'm going to put in this car is going to net me a negative return. See, because if you put $30,000 in a car today, next week, 5 years later, that car is worth $10,000. That means that's where your money is. When you look and say, well, what could I put $30,000 in to where 5 years later, instead of 30, I would have had interest, and I would have still had my principal, and I still could have gotten the car through leverage. Leverage is I'm going to use the bank's money as long as the rates are cheap. Now, in the case of a market where rates are high, we're not getting 1%, 2%, 3%, 0%. Then yeah, these are the times where you want to try to take as small a loan as possible. It makes more sense to apply a larger down payment and pay off the car quicker. So it's really all about, what are we doing with our money? Is your money invested? Are you getting 10%, 8%? Maybe some of you are in some other ventures where you're getting, more. If that's the case, it's not going to make any financial sense for you to put more money in the car, because you can put that money in other places that's going to net you a bigger return. So again, one thing about me is I don't teach one size fits all car buying advice. I asked you a couple questions. What are you doing with your money, and what are the rates? You might say, Deshaun, they're offering 0% on this car I want. If 0%, then I would use the bank's money. I keep my money just on the strength of having my money. And then if you wanted to, if you have your money invested, why pull it out of something that's getting you a positive return to put it into something that's not even going to give you a break even? It's going to give you a negative return, and it ties up your cash. So these are the conversations I've learned just over 14 years in dealerships, talking with very, very intelligent, financially intelligent, rich, ultra rich people. So if you want to move, you want to be rich, move like the rich. All of this is laid out in my book. I have a section specifically of comparing, about cash buyers, because many people who have been taught to pay cash, you don't realize that you could be missing opportunities, especially in the investment market where you're getting, some people's portfolios up 12, 13, 15%. They would never have that money in a car. Does that make sense? Everybody clear, type $signs. Listen, I need to know we're having a real financial conversation here. So I put on TikTok, everybody should be over 18. Listen, 16, 17, I wish they could be on here, but I don't want 14-year-olds on here. I would, obviously, the point is I'm trying to make sure I'm getting the crowd who can receive this information. If you're clear on that principle concerning rates as opposed to down payments, then type $signs. If you need me to clarify, then ask a question and ask me to go more deep. I don't want to go deep I don't want to move to the next question until I make sure that the people on the stream have, you know, so let me know. Y'all see it? Be clear? We want to go deeper on that? I see you, Ruth. Okay. Listen, TikTok, I'm going to tell you something. The people that's on here, you are not going to get the most out of this casually watching. I just want to be honest with you. It's two people I can't help. Two people I can't help because I think oftentimes, you know, we look and, you know, people who, you know, do these types of shows or people who we might see on streams, it just seems like they promise a solution for everyone. I can help all of you. No, I want to be clear. If you can't use the internet, if you're not comfortable on a computer, if you're not comfortable copying and pasting, this is not for you. Let's be clear there. Second person is you're just too distracted. We're talking about $5,000, $10,000. When you see people on this, you know, that I show you that have saved 5, 10 grand, 12 grand, 20 grand off their cars, you know, we share them. You guys know that. I mean, look, you got people who save 20 grand off a new F-150 Lightning, you know, ridiculous lease payments, $365 a month, sign and drive on this 2024 that India got. When you see this, these people aren't casual listeners. These people said, Deshaun, I was following you. I used to tap to the stream, and then I got the book, and then I started, you know what I'm saying? I don't want you to fool yourself. So either lock in, like get to your keyboard, because learning, it's proven. Those who actively learn get results. Those who listen, audio is you're only retaining a very small amount. So what I suggest is, before we move to the next question, those of you who are serious, get to your keyboards. You don't have to do it on lives and stuff. You ain't got to do none of that because that's not active. That's entertainment. God bless them. We all need entertainment. But here, in order for you to look and say, you know what, I was on Deshaun's stream. I don't want you on this stream 2 years from now having car buying anxiety, Alex, Annabelle, Chef Land. I don't want people who was following me when I came to TikTok in 2021, when God blew me up, and you saw me 2 years ago, you still have anxiety. You still ain't out here saving the money that we're saving. And we've been pushing this heavily for 3 years. Why? You haven't locked in. You're trying to be casual. So let's lock in. Next question, Dolan. I just wanted to let the people on the stream know, and shout out to the people who are locked in. Let's go. Do you need an extended warranty with a lease? Only when you are going to be outside of the warranty coverage based on how many miles you're going to be driving. So most vehicles have a bumper-to-bumper 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. Now, when you consider that the average lease is 12,000 miles per year, but there are leases for 15, 20. You know, we teach about high mileage leases here, 25,000. Jen got a high mileage lease on her Honda CRV hybrid. Her best deal out of all the dealers, because we shop 25 dealers, we do it from home. Her best deal on this vehicle is $40,000. It was $512 a month, no money out of pocket. Come pay $512 a month. That's your deal. Now, she bumped it up because our formula when we're shopping for our lease offers is always to shop with 12,000 miles per year. First payment down. I want you to write this down. Everybody who's locked in, write this down. This is how, I mean, unless you have my book. If you have my book, you don't need to write this down because it's in there. But this is how we shop our lease offers. 12,000 miles per year. First month's payment only due at signing. We tell them assume tier 1 credit, and taxes and fees go in the payment. 3 years only. We're open to 39, but we are not open to anything longer than that. Why? We're paying too much money for a vehicle we're giving back, or we're paying too long for a vehicle we're giving back. All of you out there who have a 42-month lease or a 48-month lease, just take your contract, look at the payments, add them all up. You'll see you overpaid, unfortunately. Sorry to break the bad news to you, but someone has to, so that you can stop making these expensive mistakes. So that's the format of how we shop structure-wise. We see all our offers with first month's payment due at signing only. That's why when you see Ansley, for $58,000, $554 a month with first month's payment down. Because if you can get the vehicle to your desired monthly payment budget without any down payment, that's what we do on leases. If we can do a sign and drive and it's in our payment, we'd rather not put any money. It's in our payment budget. We'd rather not put any money down, because the more money you put down on a lease, that money is at risk. There's two ways you can lose your money on a lease. Write this down. If the vehicle is your down payment, if the vehicle's stolen, or if it's total. If it's stolen and they don't find it, or if it's total. So that's how so now, going back to your question about do we need an extended warranty, once you look at what the bumper-to-bumper warranty is on a vehicle, if it's some vehicles like a Mercedes or Infiniti, it's 4 years bumper-to-bumper, which means, and they'll give you 50,000 miles. So there's a higher bumper-to-bumper threshold there. You just need to know, based on my lease, is there going to be a period of time where I'm driving this vehicle with no bumper-to-bumper warranty? Now, you might have a powertrain warranty, which covers the engine, the transmission, things of that nature. But if the electronics begin to fail or malfunction, if your bumper-to-bumper warranty has expired, then yes, you would be exposed. So you can get an extended warranty in that particular case, but I would only do this on vehicles that are extremely expensive to maintain. I'm not really looking to add an extended warranty to a lease unless I'm dealing with like a high mileage lease on a Range Rover or something that I know when it breaks is very expensive. Other than that, we're not looking to add extended warranties on leases. Typically you'll be out of that vehicle before you won't be able to have the vehicle long enough to have the warranty make sense. Okay. What's up, Primo? What's up, Nick? Kelly Tipple. Go ahead. Next question, Dolan. Everything that I'm teaching is out of my new digital book. It's 5-star rated. You can Google it. It is called Cars from Home. 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. We save time and we save money. I'm not into saving money and being in dealerships for hours. Who enjoys being in dealerships for hours? Listen, that might sound like a weird question, but there are some people who get a thrill out of it. Anybody? Yes? Enjoy being in dealerships? Enjoy? Anybody? Who hates going to dealerships? Who hates being in dealership? TD Brewer? What's up, Gus? What's up, Kenyon? Yep, D Will. He said me. Kellen? Yep, I enjoy it, but has to be quick. Yep, Londa, me. Yep. Look, Marquise, no more than 2 hours. Now, when we talk about the time, you can save time and not money. You can save money and not time. So you can go in and say, well, it took me 10 hours, 2 days, 3 visits to save $10,000. Well, you might have saved money, but you didn't save time. We want both. And then we have a third caveat in that title. It's avoiding dealerships. So 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships, because we don't need to be in dealerships to save the time and the money. Clear? That's the name of the book. So you can get a copy of it. It's 75% off. It's everything I'm teaching. Now, obviously, you guys can see I don't hold back. So it's not like, hey, my best stuff is in the book. We do have calculators in the book that obviously I can't, give you here. We've designed calculators, but you can get your copy for 75% off because that's my welcome offer. I want to make it a no-brainer for people to be able to get car deals, save thousands of dollars from home. So the welcome offer for 30 minutes is 75% off. It's normally $97, but it's a digital book as well. So it'll be in your inbox by the time we end this stream. You can get your copy in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. And make sure as soon as you pay, you screenshot that thank you page, and then you download your book, because there's an actual link as soon as you pay. You can save it to your phone, to your computer. Okay? How can I pay off my car quick? This is a money situation. I mean, that's a question for Google. You can actually, some people say there's ways that you can make your payment twice a month or on certain day of the month, or I think the whole thing about the way most loans are structured, that whole tell them to apply it towards principal, I don't know if that's still accurate or not, but this is a money situation. So if your payment is $350 a month for 6 years, if you don't pay more than $360 a month for 6 years, then the car is going to take 6 years to pay off. If you have additional money and you want to throw it at the car to pay it off quicker, then have at it. I don't know if there's anything else that I could add to that. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's go. Marilyn Birdman, good to see you. Shout out to the TikTok crew checking in. All right. Do leasing numbers work when we're driving more miles, though? Sure. First person I ever saw had a high mileage lease when I was a manager at Hyundai for 6 weeks. He returned his Sonata. It had 72,000 miles on it. It was a 3-year lease. And when I saw it, I said to myself, I couldn't believe he had leased it. And he explained to me that that's all he did. He was in sales and he was always leasing because he was tired of the negative equity. Negative equity is when you owe more on your car than it's worth. And some of you, every single transaction you do, you have negative equity. You don't realize that the cause is you don't lease. Unfortunately, you're losing money, thousands of dollars, because your cars are depreciating, and then you go and trade them and you take the loss. That's not supposed to happen. See, the things that are normal that you think are normal, I'm here to tell you they're not normal. And there's people, thousands of people that, thank God, they are learned, because they've been hitting you guys with bad information about leasing since the beginning of time. Now, don't get me wrong, leases at some point, at one point, there were bad leases and they were bad lease structures. You had balloon payments that people didn't know. There were different types of leases, open-ended leases, closed-end leases. Now the leases are set up where it is the best thing in the world if you're not keeping cars 8 years. And if anyone's not keeping cars 8 years and you're not leasing, you are losing thousands of dollars. Facts. I can prove it. I bet if anybody took me on their show and just gave me a whiteboard or a chalkboard and said, hey, can you prove in 10 minutes or less that anyone who's not leasing, but they're not keeping their cars 8 years, they're losing thousands of dollars? I said, man, I don't even need 10 minutes. Give me 6. Because all I'm going to show you simply is the fact that someone like Ansley, who gets a 1% lease, he's paying $554 a month for a $58,000 car. Now, some of you know, let me ask a question to the community. Shout out to the new people. I know we got some first-time people on here, but this is a question for the people. I want to see, maybe we don't know. If we got some people on here that know this, how much is every $100? I gave it away. So every $5,000 that when you're looking at a car, every $5,000 in that vehicle, loan-wise, you're going to pay $100 a month. So looking at this car right here, which is $58,490. Roundabout, that's going to cost us about $1,100 to $1,200 a month. Even before taxes, we ain't put tax on there, but let's just assume, just looking at that $58,000 number on a 5-year loan. 5-year loan, that would cost us about $1,200 a month. So if that number would cost us $1,200 a month, and Ansley's paying $554 a month, how long does you see what I'm saying? I'm literally putting the let me put this image down. As soon as I put those two up, I'm just gonna put the actual chalk down and walk away from the board and let people look at that and let them soak that in. 2 people, both got Infiniti trucks. One leases it for $554, no money down. Another person gets the identical truck and leaves the dealership paying $1,100-$1,200 a month. Sit that right there for you guys. And I will let them look at that and say, wow, okay, come up with their questions, because their programming is going to make them say, well, but he's leasing it. And okay, so now let's address the follow-up things. If this person is leasing and paying half of what this person is paying every month, then what stage does the person who bought start to win? And in which case we'd add up those payments, we'd see, and it comes out to 8 years. Because once you put those payments up, it's going to take you so long to catch up with me if I'm paying $554 and you're paying $1,100. That's it. The first thing that should get you with leasing is, wait, I could drive this car for this payment? That's the first thing. There's more to this than that. There's more to this than that. But the first thing that should attract a person, make their ears peak up, is I'm driving that same car and you're spending $300, $400, $500 a month less than me. Welcome, Marilyn Birdman. I see you. Welcome. I see the new follow. Thank you. That should be the first question that comes in your mind is, wait, something's off. So now let me get my questions answered, because if you're driving a vehicle for $300, $400, $500, $600 a month less than me, and I got the same vehicle, now I have questions. Can I drive as much as I need to over the next couple years? Sure you can. Okay. What if I need to drive 20,000 miles a year? Okay, well, the payment goes up slightly, but you're still way less. Instead of being $400 a month less, you're $350 a month less, or now you're $300 a month less. So no matter what, leasing is a play for payments and brand new cars. Every lease you get is a brand new car. Some people ask that, oh, well, can you lease a used car? Yeah, it's not a mainstream program. 99.99% of leases, you're driving off the lot in a brand new car, paying less than people are paying for used cars. Similar, recent model 3-4-year-old used cars, I'm going to pay less than you, and I'm going to drive a better car than you. That's what we just did. I got my wife, we leased her a brand new QX60, and we kept the pre-owned one. Her payment on the brand new one is less than the pre-owned one. The pre-owned one is 2020. The new one is 2025. What world can you make that make sense for me? First thing is the payment. Then you can understand the rest later. All right, go ahead, Dolan. See, when I see people, y'all remember those TikTok videos that went viral a couple years ago, and they were going into dealerships and they were asking people what their average car payment was? Did anybody see that? Let us know, chat. Anybody see when they were going into dealerships asking car salespeople what their average car payment was? Anybody saw that? Because that's right around the time the information was going viral that the average American car payment was over $1,000. So now it's going viral that they're letting us know that most of, unfortunately, and some of you, we want to get you off of this, are paying $1,000 car payments. So I knew the reason why. It's not just bad negotiations or I don't know how to get great deals. That's one reason. The equally big reason is you absolutely don't understand leasing. And you have been taught, in order for me to get the cars that I want, I have to buy them. And when I buy them, I absorb the cost to buy the whole car. $48,000 is $1,000 a month. You get $48,000 vehicle plus taxes. If you don't know how to get any discount, 5-year loan, your payment's $1,000. That's it. That's the math. So it's very easy when you don't understand leasing or you don't know how to get great deals to pay $900, $1,000 a month for a car that you could be leasing for $500 a month with no money down. And you would not believe how many car salesmen don't know this. That's what brought me to TikTok. I remember, I'm going to tell you this one story and then we'll get back to the questions. I was trying to decide whether we were going to come to TikTok or Facebook. Or Instagram first. This was 2021. And a guy hit me. I was making videos on Facebook, had a couple 100,000 views, maybe 4,000 followers. nothing huge, but you know, and I could see that's when Facebook was dying. It was before Reels. And somebody DM'd me and said, "Hey, this Deshaun, it's this guy on TikTok, and he's doing real well, man. He reminds me of you. He like makes these videos trying to educate people about cars and things of that nature. He's a car salesman." I said, "Okay, let me check him out." So I check him out. He's an older guy, and I said, "I like this. God bless. We need more people like this. We need more people who are gonna advocate from the inside to help consumers, you know, realize that y'all are getting scammed." And you need financial literacy, and you need to know how to avoid these huge mistakes. But then I watched about 10 videos, and I was loving this guy. But then somebody asked him a question, and they said, "Hey, could you tell us about leasing?" And so he said, "Nah, you don't want to lease your cars. They limit you on mileage. You know, you're going to get a ton of fees when you drop it off in 3 years. Just buy your cars." God bless. That was my decision right there made. I said, I'll be on TikTok tomorrow. Because I said, if this guy has 160,000 followers and this is what he's teaching people, oh no, Lord, we got to get here. And began to teach, and we have balanced toward leasing and purchasing for the last 3 years. And so this is what's out here. That's a car salesman. That's a guy who's in the business every day who has no idea about leasing. So if the people who are supposed to be helping you make great financial decisions aren't trained, you better be trained. Pay attention to what I just said. If the people who you're trusting with 50, 80, $30,000 of your money, you're trusting them to help you make a great financial decision, and you don't know if they're trained, and many of them are not, you better be trained. You better be trained. And that's all we do here. You use what we teach, you'll be mistake proof. You can't fail unless you just go rogue and say, I'm just gonna go back to go into the dealership. All right, God bless you. Go back to the same results. All right, Ruth Thornton, can your plans be used for less expensive cars, say a Compass? 100%. You can see right here, India got her $365 a month lease on her Hyundai Sonata Limited. On her Hyundai Elantra Limited. This was a vehicle, she originally was looking at a Toyota Corolla. She didn't like the lease program. See, what you got to understand about shopping for leases is you can't control the lease program. It is so easy to save money on new car purchases. Used cars, simple. Because there's nothing but find the dealer with the best deal. That's simple. We use the internet. So like I said, if you can't use the internet, if you're not comfortable with a computer, then I'm sorry, this isn't for you. But if you can use the internet, then you can put that back up, Dolan. If you can use the internet, then you can continue to get the deals we get, but when it comes to, hold on one second. You can throw that question back up, Dolan. Let's just keep that on the screen. So, but when it comes to lease programs, you need, there's something we can't control, which is, what is the rate, the money factor, the residual? If it's bad, it's going to lead to a bad lease deal. It doesn't matter. We shop. This is my recommendation. You don't have to listen to it. You're an adult. We don't make a decision before we see 5 offers on a lease, because you never know where the bottom of the market is on a car. So we want to see 5 offers when we buy a new car, when we see a lease. So we do it from home. If you want to do it your way, you don't have my book, you can call around, talk to sales managers, try to get 5 offers, because what you're going to see is they're going to be totally different. People are going to take off different amounts. But when it comes to the lease program, you saw that India, she was shopping for a Toyota Corolla and she got all her offers, and she identified it was a bad lease program. That means all the offers are break the 1.5% rule. It's not a dealer's fault. So we're not going to get too complex, but you got to understand, with a lease, it's not like a purchase. There's a bank that we use, and if the bank has a bad deal, it'll almost be like that. It's not like interest. It's a bad lease program. So she ended up going to a Hyundai Elantra Limited. So that's the one with the nice features, $28,000 vehicle. She gets it for $365 a month. Sign and drive. So it doesn't matter. Jeep Compass is right around, maybe I think it's a little more expensive than that. I think it's 32, 33. We've used this for everything. We've had people get Rogues, we have people get CRVs, we have people get, BMWs, Jeep Grand Cherokees. Raphael got her Jeep Grand Cherokee, $549 a month, 54,000. We've had Kimberly get her Maserati. She saved $20,000 off of it. You can see right here. Look, she got her Maserati. This was literally, it took off $20,700 for her, brand new. So it's for everything. Somebody asked earlier in the show, is this for like, exotic cars? Can we use this for like exclusive cars? For sure. Bentleys, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Competitive shopping is what you look. Don't overthink this. It's competitive shopping. That's all it is. We just have a formal system for competitive shopping. That's what it is. We have what we believe is the best system in the world until someone can show us that they've gotten more results for the public. We have the best system in the world for getting multiple offers and creating competition in the car market that benefits us. So you could throw any car in there, system is going to work. So everything that we teach is out of my new book. If you guys are like, Deshaun, this is a lot. Can you give me the step by step? Can you give me the playbook to where I can look at this and kind of go through my checklist? My book is written as a checklist. It's a digital book, and you can. It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. And it's normally $97. You can get a copy for the next 30 minutes for 75% off, which is $24. So if you get, that's my welcome offer to you, but it's only for 30 minutes. So if you grab your copy, you can go to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments. We have a link there, and you can activate your 75%. Now, for those of you who are like, Deshaun, I see you sharing a lot of pictures. Where are these pictures from? This is from our private group. I've been coaching people through our courses since 2021. We created our Cars from Home Done With You, because some of you have a different learning style. You like, instead of reading, you prefer step-by-step videos, short videos, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, to walk you through the process. And then you want community that can support you. We have our private Facebook group with I think we got about 1,500 people, almost 1,600 people in there. And then we do a coaching call twice per month, every, first and third Wednesday. We jump on a Zoom call so people can get their questions answered with me. So if that's your style, you'll see the link there. You can just hit Shop with Deshaun. Now, you do have to qualify for that. That program's not for everyone. But if you click there, go watch the video, and you can see if you qualify for that. So I don't care how you save the money, how you eliminate the anxiety. If you find a more creative way than the Cars from Home system to buy cars and guarantee that you got the lowest price in the market, from home, then God bless you, do it your way. But no one is able to guarantee that they're getting the lowest price in the market. You negotiators, you're losing, because here's what I'll tell you. If you came out of a dealership and you said, man, Deshaun, I just beat him up in there, man, I got a great deal. I said, let me ask you a question. Would you bet me $1,000 that I can't find a better deal than the one you just signed? Give me, would you take the bet? So you come out confident, man, Deshaun, I've been working them over for 3 hours, man. They took off $6,000, whatever, $10,000. My question to you would be, would you bet me $1,000 that I can't find a better deal than the one you just got from home? Most people are going to not take that bet, right? Right? Because they don't have the guarantee. They don't have what we call deal assurance, price assurance, which means they have buyer's remorse. See, I'm happy with my purchase until you ask me to guarantee that I didn't leave money on the table. But watch this. What you're going to be doing different is you're going to be so confident in the way dealers are bidding. When my dad picked up his Palisade yesterday, when we got this Infiniti a couple weeks ago, We guarantee you. I come at that dealership with my new vehicle, and you can say, hey, bet me some money. Would you bet me $1,000 I can't find a better deal than this? And I would say, can I bet two? Can we go double or nothing? I mean, or can I double? Can we put a little bit more on the line? That's how confident you're going to be when you actually start to use a competitive system where you can look at several offers from home. Another thing our system does is make you see that, okay, 4 out of 5 dealers are overpriced. See, you hear people say, oh man, I went to Nissan, they're overpriced. Nissan want too much money for the Altima. No, you went to one Nissan independently owned franchise and you got a price from them. You didn't go to Nissan. You're not dealing with corporate. You went to one franchise. That's like going to one McDonald's and you had a bad experience. And McDonald's is not good. They don't treat us good. No, that one McDonald's on Main Street in this city, you didn't have a good experience with. Every single dealer is different. Some of them owned by the same people, but they still compete. So what you are going to do now with the Cars from Home system, whether it's the book or whether it's, listen, and look, you do it your way. But if you don't start to create competition, you'll never get rid of your buyer's remorse. You're never going to have price assurance and confidence that you didn't get scammed, that you didn't overpay, that you didn't get enough money for your trade-in, that you didn't, we didn't get the question yet today, but hey, is this a good interest rate, Deshaun? Like, all of this stuff is buyer's remorse questions. When I drive my car off the lot, that's why people don't talk about the price they pay when they leave. Once we drive our car off the lot, I never want to have buyer's remorse concerning price, and I'm never going to have it. But if I was to ask you about the price on your car, hey, can I see, I run into people. I was just at the dealership yesterday. I was coming outside and the young lady was out there. She said, oh, hey, I follow you on TikTok. I said, hey, God bless you. I said, you picking up something here? She said, yeah, I'm getting this used car, but then they like the price online was 19 or 16, and then they telling me all in is 21. And I said, you didn't verify fees before you came? She said, no, well, I got the cheat sheets. You got the cheat sheets. You didn't see the videos? I made tons of videos. You must ask. The only 3 fees. Write these down. If you don't have my book, write these 3 fees down on every single car. Used car. These are the 3 fees. Documentation fee, tax, motor vehicle fees. That's it. Everything else is made up, and you need to verify before you go there. You don't do this online and say, and then come into the dealership. That's why they do it. They do it because they know people are going to see that price, call the deal, not even call the dealership, come in, and then get hit with a bunch of fees. So unfortunately, yes, she follows me, but she hasn't gone deep to see that that's a rule we don't break. I will never go to a dealership on a used car without verifying fees before I get there. That's a recipe for wasting your time, because I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. You're not going to get me here, and then I'm not going to $2,500 in fake fees. I'm not buying it. So, because some of you said, well, Deshaun, I'll just get up and walk away. Well, the bad thing about that is you still need a car. So what you did is you allowed someone to waste your time, and while the good car was selling, you were there dealing with the bad car. The good car that didn't have the fees and that was the real best deal, you missed that because you're here dealing with this. But from home, on the phone, verifying fees, we know this is the best deal. When I get in the car and drive to a dealership to see a used car, by the time you're getting there, you should know this is already the best deal. And all I need to verify when I get here is that this car drives good. But I know the price because I've done that from home. In my book, we teach a system called the multiple marketplace system. That's how we shop for used cars. It's different than when we shop for new cars, because with used cars, there's a couple things you have to know. You have to know this. You have to know the title history. Write these things down. I'm wondering who's writing it down, but I can't worry about that. I know this. I just gotta, I remember. Never mind. I'll go off a tangent. So you need to know the service records. You need to know the accident history, and you need to know what the title looks like. That's how we screen down for quality. The quality of the car. Is it a rental? Is it a ex-loaner? Is it a corporate lease? Is it a hang on, my alarm was going off. Is it a salvage title? Is it a rebuilt title? These things are not the same. So we need to look at that title, the service history, and the accident records, and then we move into looking at price. And and some of you, who's bought a used car in your life? I'm going to tell you something right now that I guarantee you're going to be like, wow, that makes sense, but you never did it. If you bought a used car before in your life, I want you to type the letter U. I want to specifically talk for a quick second before we go to the next question to the people who have bought a used car or you're planning to. Type the letter U. Because if we don't have, okay, I see you, Ty. Everyone if you have bought a used car or your next vehicle you're going to be shopping for is going to be a used car, type the letter U. I see you, Marcus. Okay, just a couple people. When you look at a used car, the most important thing to determining if you're overpaying is to know the original price. I'm going to tell you what I did with my used Infiniti that we got a couple years ago, and you'll see why this makes sense. When I was narrowing my search, I told you how we narrow the search. We narrow it from accidents, service records, title history, but then we narrow it down. You put your mileage in there. Narrowed it down to 4, and I was looking at 4 white Infinitis. They look similar, and they were all between 30 and 32,000, so they're pretty close in price, between 30, 32,000 in that window. Now, most of you would have made a bet, would have just went with your gut here. You'd have just said, okay, well, these look similar. They all white. I mean, all right, let me go take a look at this one. I like them all. You would have made a horrible decision. I'm going to tell you why. Once we found out the brand new price, first of all, now I can see the equipment that's in the car. I remember when I was at the dealership, people would come in, replace their car and be like, Deshaun, on the next car, I want the remote start. And I'm like, hey, I'm sorry to let you know, but you have remote start on this car that you're getting rid of? I did. Yeah. So they didn't even know what was in the car they had. So that's another reason to get the original window sticker or the original equipment list. But even more important than that is I get to see what was the cost of the car brand new. So once I did that, I saw that one of the Infiniti trucks was 46, one was 48, one was 52, and the most expensive one, brand new wise, was 54,000, and it had a ton of equipment in it, special cameras, sensors, and that stuff wasn't easily visible looking at the listing. Now you look at what the discount is from that price. That's something in my book. For those of you who have my book or will be getting it to shop for your used car, you'll see something we created called the True Value Discount. All that matters on used cars is how much discount am I getting from the brand new price, not what am I getting from the dealer. As I'm comparison shopping, I'm looking at that used car. I'm looking at 4 Honda Accords. This one is giving me a 30% discount from the brand new price. This one's giving me a 32%. This one's giving me a 40% discount. And had people been doing this, some of you wouldn't have got in trouble, because we had a lot of people during the pandemic get in trouble buying used cars paying the exact same price that they were brand new. Our people wasn't doing that, but for those of you who unfortunately you didn't know how to shop and you went out and you thought I could go out here and deal with this market, and unfortunately that was a horrible decision because we had people buying Toyota Camrys for $27,000 that brand new was $28,000, and they were 3 years old. And now those same cars right now are worth 12 or 10, but the person still owes 25 or 24 or 20. So it's a horrible situation. But had they really respected or known about what we teach is that true value discount, they would have been very interested in knowing what was the original price of the vehicle that I'm buying that you're selling me as a used car. And this is how we move confidently. This is how when people see me, listen, I'm going to tell y'all something. I know everything about car buying. It's my experience. My dad was picking up his Hyundai truck yesterday. God has blessed me with the experience, and I've worked for incredible people and I paid attention and I asked questions, and then I began to teach. Anyone in New Jersey who bought a car from me when I worked for Mercedes, they will tell you I've been this way. I was this way the last 3-4 years of my career because once I left Ray Katina, I had the knowledge to teach. So now, my dad's picking up his vehicle yesterday. He's signing for the Palisade. And he calls me, he said, Deshaun, I thought you said the first month's payment was included. I said, it is. I said, all right, I'll be right there. He's taking a shot. That's what they're supposed to do. I don't blame them. All the best finance managers take a shot. What does that look like? Hey, okay, Mr. Jones, okay, perfect. Yeah, your monthly payment every month is going to be $439, and then you're putting $3,000 down. How do you want to pay the first payment? I thought it was included. No. The $3,000 down. That's your down payment. But you pay at the beginning on a lease. You pay at the beginning. How do you want to pay that payment? That's going to work 30 to 40% of the time, maybe more, depending on how sleek the people are. But when I went in there, I said that, don't worry, trust me. The best the finance managers I know that have made the most money, they got to do it. Because if you ask 10 times, you'll get 3, 4, 5 times. And then it's straight. He said, where does that money go? I said, it's profit. So wait, that's just that. So if they get you to pay that $400 or $500, I said $400 or $500. When I was at Mercedes, the first payment on some of the cars was $1,200 a month. $1,400 for a GLS. Still pulling it. Hey, how you want to pay your first payment? Okay, I guess I thought it was included, but yeah, you throw it on the credit card? Sure, that's fine. All right, so yeah, we'll get you out of here in like 10 minutes. Let me just take care of this paperwork, and you literally just got the $1,200, $1,400. He just couldn't believe. That's why when we left, he said, "Man, I really see you know this stuff." That's my experience. I've been in this since 2006. I've got more time in dealerships and in finance offices and things that isn't. And I ran my own. So when I'm giving you the game and you say, "Man, I get to access what this guy knows for $97 in his book," or if I get there and get a copy before the welcome offer expires, I get it for $24. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, we're trying to get you to believe in yourself. This is step by step from home. No one can bust into your house and say, "Hey, put that book down. What are you doing using this guy's stuff?" So you just have to believe in yourself because we're winning. I'm winning. I'm the person who they call for cars. My family still do it, but everyone who knows me, look at JC. These are people who, once you see, wait, I can't get this anywhere else. Then we can start to get you in the mindset to just believe that, okay, let me just trust that I can actually succeed using this so that I can start to enjoy my car shopping. That's really the name of the game. It's a shame for you to spend $10,000 to $100,000 on a vehicle and you just tolerated the process. We enjoy it and we love the deals. All right, so I don't know how I got on that, but that was good. So, all right, Dolan, throw up another one. Let's see what we got. I wish I knew this before. What am I paying for my Audi today? I could have leased a Porsche. JC, I like that. Hey, listen. JC said, I wish I would have known. Unfortunately, JC didn't know about leasing. And again, I would say, JC, 17 million new cars are sold in America every year in a healthy market. 40 some odd, maybe 42, 45 million are used cars are sold every year in a healthy market. We know that number, because you can only lease a new car, that 17 million number, if we was to ask those 45 million, how many of you are keeping your cars 8 years? I would say on the low side, at least 30% would say, no, I'm not keeping this 8 years. So that means out of that 45 million who are buying used cars, or you take some of the 17 million that bought brand new, but I feel like that 17 million new cars every year should be like 30 million. It should be at least another 10 million people who are leasing because they're not keeping their cars, but they just don't know how much money they're losing. And your story reminds me of my neighbor. My neighbor, he had a Kia Telluride, the Kia truck, the Kia SUV, and he was financing it. So $44,000 vehicle. So his payment is it's over $800 a month. If you're not doing any money down. Now, again, I don't know if he put money down. I just know he might have put 10, 15, 20 grand down and dropped his payment. But if he didn't, but that vehicle is $800 a month, $45,000. Even if he took a 6-year loan, that's $800 a month. Wife totaled the vehicle, had an accident, car gets totaled. He says to me, Deshaun, we just met. We met in the last, 18 months. So he was like, when I bought the car, I didn't know about this 8-year rule you teach. 8-year rule is step 1 in my book. Our system, the Cars from Home system, is 7 steps. The 8-year rule is step 1. The 8-year rule just says if you're not buying your next car to keep 8 years, if you're not keeping your next car 8 years, you should be shopping for a below market lease, not a purchase. That's the 8-year rule. If you are keeping your next car more than 8 years, then you should be shopping for a below market purchase. So he said, I didn't know about that. And but I'm not keeping this. I don't keep cars 8 years. So, he said, so I think I'm gonna shop for a lease on this Telluride. Again, he's in a rental because his wife totaled the Telluride. He wants another Telluride. But he gets so he decides to lease, and then he uses the system. Sorry, I just just threw me off there. He uses the system. His new Telluride he gets for under $500 a month. Under $500 a month. I think he originally got it for like $497. Then he put a little money down because he wanted it to be like $479, if I'm mistaken, or maybe he lowered the amount. His final payment is $479. He did not listen. You don't have to convince his wife or him anymore about leasing. When you were just driving a vehicle that you weren't going to keep anyway, that when you went to trade it in, you would have had little to no equity, maybe even negative equity. So you're going to pay all that money, $800 a month, go to trade that vehicle in 3 years, break even. So you didn't get anything back from all those thousands you put into that depreciating asset. Now, I'm in the same vehicle. In fact, I'm in a 2025 and I'm paying $479. That's what we said 30 minutes ago. Leasing is the first thing that should make, like you just saw JC. That's why we had JC's comment up, because this story is about him. He said, what I'm paying for my Audi that I finance, I could have leased a Porsche. And we've had several people who got who came into, I remember Crystal's one of them. She got a Porsche Macan, and she got hip to leasing, JC, but she didn't get hip to competitive offers. So she was watching some of my stuff because she was shopping for the vehicle to buy, and then she got hip to, okay, I want to lease, and then she started looking at the lease offers, and I think they wanted like $1,200 a month that they had quoted her. She comes in, she gets her competitive offers. She gets it down to, man, let's see, can I find Tracy? It'll take too long. I'll share her on another stream because it's a bunch of, I don't usually share stuff from like last year, or because we have people, you know what I'm saying? We're in the market every day. So we're talking about 2024s, 2025s. You know what I'm saying? But I can pull a story from 2023 or from some 2022, you know. I always use Bonita as an example because people be like, yo, the market's bad. Can we get good deals? When, listen, we were in mid-pandemic when people were paying. I remember during the pandemic, if you know anyone who had a Kia Telluride during the pandemic, they were paying upwards of $5,000 and $10,000 over a sticker to get them. Some people still have them and are still buried in them because that's how much they overpaid to get these vehicles. Meanwhile, Bonita came in, no money down, got a Kia Telluride, her dream vehicle, she said $600 a month, sign and drive. That was in the world's worst car market. We were still getting people posting cars and getting deals. So it's just, that's what we call deal structure. These are deal structure mistakes. So you could be the best negotiator in the world, but without competitive offers, you're going to overpay. You could also get competitive offers, but without the right deal structure, you're going to overpay. Deal structure is, am I supposed to lease this vehicle or am I supposed to buy it? And if you just remember the 8-year rule, ask yourself that question, am I keeping this next car 8 years? If you are not, then if you purchase, you lose. Even if you buy a used car, because I know some of you, I know the thoughts, I know what you're thinking to try to get yourself out of, you know, embracing this new teaching. Because you're like, Deshaun, no, I just taught against leasing. I just taught that I shouldn't do that. I'll get a used car though. So don't I win if I get a used car? I got this. I was going to replace this 2020 Infiniti truck that I got. I got a great deal on it. It was $54,000 brand new. I got it for $31,800. It was a 42% discount off the brand new price. It was the best 2020 Infiniti truck in the market at the time. It had a bunch of features for the same price as all these other cars that didn't have them. So I got that vehicle. It had 26,000 miles on it. It had 14 months left on the warranty. Phenomenal deal. I put $5,000 down to get my payment to where I wanted it to be. I financed about whatever, 27,000 or whatever it was. 2 years later, I say to myself, I'm about to break my own rule. What does that mean? Me and my wife have leased cars. Sometimes I would buy one, but we've always had a lease in the house. We've always had a lease. That's hassle-free, low car payments, no maintenance, never got to worry about not having a warranty. So now I'm like, man, you know what? I think because you buy a vehicle you're in love with, your dream vehicle, and this wasn't it. So I'm like, all right, you know, when I get my Escalade and things that I know that I'm going to keep for 8-10 years, then that's the vehicles you buy. But vehicle, I'm like, I'm not going to keep this Infiniti 8 years. Now, I start plus I have that, not to mention, I'm seeing that I have people like you saw Ansley, and you haven't seen Rosalie yet, who got brand new QX50, QX60 deals, and they were paying ridiculous payments, $592. Rosalie put down, you can't see this, it's zoomed in. You guys can't see it on TikTok, but whenever you get a chance, if you pop over to Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you can see the replay. I can't share this, unfortunately, on TikTok, but I tell you about it. And the people on the others, we're live on 4 platforms now: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. So when I saw their payments, and then I saw Ansley got a $58,000 vehicle, $554 a month. I'm like, all right, I think I want to go get me a lease on one of these brand new ones. So I got my lease. I put $1,200 out of pocket, $499 a month, $54,000 vehicle. But I went to, some of you guys know we don't trade cars. We get bids. I got bids from whenever you want to find out what your car is worth. These are the 6 websites you go to. You do not go to kellysbluebook.com. It's trash. CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer. You want cash offers. You want people who will buy cars every day, thousands of cars a month, making cash offers for you to see what your vehicle is really worth. And they pay more than most dealers. But KBB Instant Cash Offer, that's going to get you a local dealer's bid. AutoNation gets you a local dealer's bid. Car Gurus get you a local dealer's bid. Carvana, CarMax, and Driveway. 6 offers. So I get my offers, and then I get my payoff, and what do I see? The same. My vehicle's break even. Break even. Now you might say, well, if you break even, ain't that good though? Because you know you could get out of the vehicle, you don't have no negative equity. What happened to my $5,000 down payment? So I'm watching people who I'm teaching who are out there shopping the market, pulling up in their brand new vehicles, and I'm like, now this is the same vehicle that I have a 3-year-old version of, and I'm like, wow, we have the same car payment or similar car payment. So some of you who think you're gonna get I buy used cars. That was the whole purpose of why I went here. Sean, I buy used cars though. Well, you didn't get a great if anything, I got as great a used car deal as you would get. It's not better considering what I saved off of it. I put $5,000 down, 6-year loan, because I plan on keeping the car. 2 years later, we look up, $5,000 down payment's gone. You can get out of it, but you not only did and that's the deal. When you buy a used car, thinking you're gonna escape the 8-year rule, yeah, Deshaun, I'm not gonna lease, but I'm gonna get me a used version. And all you do is pay the same money to drive what a person who's got a great lease deal pays to drive a brand new one. And yours is gonna have issues because you're not gonna have a warranty. And then you had to deal with that. So I put tires on the car. I didn't even include my $5,000 down payment. I didn't include that I replaced the tires and the brakes on the vehicle in the last 2 years. So let's say $7,000 that if I sold, I take the $7,000 loss. So I'm not exempt from any of this. None of you are. So I'm using this to tell you the 8-year rule is what you need to be looking at, leasing versus buying. And you need to understand that if you make these decisions wrong, you got your deal on the wrong footprint, wrong foundation, there's no way for you to get a great deal. You must ask yourself that. It's a depreciating asset. You've heard that for years. This is the practical application of how to make sure you win with it. So people say it's a depreciating asset. So what do I need to ask myself? How many years am I going to keep it? If somebody was selling you a financial product or a stock or something and they said, hey, bad news, for the first 6 years, this stock is going to go down in value a lot. But after the 6th year, it starts to go up. And by the 10th year, you start to make money. But you got to hold it for at least 10 years. Then if you went into that process and you bought that product and you got out of that in five years, then you lose. It's a depreciating asset. You're getting something that, in the case of a car, it never comes back up. So the only way you win with cars is with long-term ownership. 8 to 10 years, that's when you win. And there's no one who can convince me otherwise. This is a numbers thing. See, what we do here is we talk numbers. All the people who given you this horrible financial advice, they never speak numbers. They rant. Oh, leasing is renting. Oh, leasing is borrowing. Leasing is for people who like debt. Oh, borrowing cars. These are people who, unfortunately, they're just incorrect. And I'm not in a position where I could be on a panel with them. If I was, it wouldn't take me long to make light work of them because they don't talk numbers. So we can't have a financial conversation about somebody who doesn't understand numbers with the subject matter that they're speaking about. So if you're like Deshaun, how do I get every single thing we teach in like one place? That's my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's normally $97. It's 5-star rated. You can Google it. But for the next 30 minutes, you can get 75% off. That's my welcome offer. That means you'll get it for $24. But if you get there, you got to get there before the timer hits zero. Once it hits zero, the price does go up to $97, and it's worth every penny. If you miss it and you're like, Sean, I need the information, and hey, I missed the welcome offer. But $97, it's still one of the most valuable books you're ever gonna read and use. So, but $24 is better. So get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments. Welcome, D. Welcome. I see. Thanks for the follow. And get there, get your copy. And then it'll be in your inbox. It's a digital book, so it'll be right there. And just follow it step by step. Don't jump ahead. Stay on your path. There's paths in there for everybody. People with bad credit, people who don't know how to negotiate, people who you need to stop negotiating because you can't negotiate your way to a below market deal. You can only get bids. High mileage drivers, you guys are losing a lot because you're depreciating asset even faster than the average person. So you are losing a lot. We have paths in there for you. And then, of course, our system for leasing, purchasing, and buying used cars is all in there step by step. So go grab your copy. 75% off in my TikTok bio, the Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. For those of you who are like, you would rather work with us and try to see if we can qualify to shop together, just click that button that says Shop with Deshaun. That's for you who are like, you rather watch videos instead of reading. You prefer 3 to 5 minute step-by-step videos, and you prefer a community. We have a private Facebook group. That's when you see all of these people that I post their cars, they upload their cars and their deals to our private Facebook group. It's called it's called a graduation. So the first time you get your car using the Cars from Home system, you're a graduate. And then after that, you're an alumni. And we just had Sheree. Sheree is probably our most successful alumni. She just got her 4th car. She joined us in 2022, and she just said she's seen things get easier and easier. And when you join the Facebook group, you'll see her like right at the top, 4th car. So this is the world we want you to experience. Peace of mind and really, So if that's something for you, you can click that button in those same links that says Shop with Deshaun. See if you qualify. And other than that, we'll be back on another stream. Thanks for checking in. God bless you. Already done. I pulled up two articles, and I've been warning people to sell their electric vehicles before the election. If you go to Google and you just type in this simple term, electric vehicle market, Trump. Just type that in, see what happens. You're going to get a bunch of articles that pop up telling you how bad electric vehicle values have been just since the election. Because legislation created the electric vehicle market. It didn't come out of nowhere. The electric vehicle market did not come, oh, all of a sudden the world just wants electric vehicles. Legislation created it, and legislation can destroy it. Legislation can hurt it. So when the future of legislation is no longer geared in electric, then that means the value of everyone who owns an electric car, your value goes down by thousands. Like it's plummeting. It's plummeting. So the real aspects of what we're here for is to let you know that if y'all don't start making great decisions with these cars, you are going to continue to lose thousands and thousands of dollars. And this is money you can't see because people have taught you, well, don't take car buying that serious. It's just a car. Go out, do it on the weekend. You went out to go to the grocery store. Somehow you ended up at a car dealership and you just bought a car. When you treat car buying like you bought a TV, you can't win. You're going to continue to get average deals below above market deals. You're going to continue to lose thousands of dollars. So shout out to the people who tap in. Shout out to the people who are locked in. Old Souza, anyone who has an electric vehicle, you should be assessing the value now, unless you plan to keep. Now, I told y'all in this video, Tesla was going to win. It wasn't even a question. Tesla was going to win. So it was all about Elon Musk saying, okay, if I could, Elon Musk just eliminated most of his competition. Brilliant move. Brilliant. Because he understood what drove the market. He understood. And you guys can start typing your questions. We'll be on here. Anyone who's car shopping, start typing your questions, and we'll get to as many as we can in the next next hour or so. But Elon Musk understood. What brought my competitors in was legislation. I was in this game before anybody was. I have a brand. Tesla's a brand. It's not just an electric car. It's a brand. But the reason why Tesla's value started tanking, if you just Google before the election, Tesla's resale values horrific, the worst of almost any car. He started saying, all right, the competition did that. There's more options. He got 90% of his competition out the market. And it's a great move. From a business move, people are not going to make these electric vehicles. They're going to focus on gas. They're going to focus on the things that they used to, making better emissions, smaller engines, turbochargers, better fuel economy, just like they used to, and they're going to say, oh, thank God we're done with the electric. We're done with needing to do this liability stuff. All of these, it's the getting to the electric market, developing these things, batteries, and how they're going to be sustainable in the long run. Why the heck do we want to do that? I worked with Mercedes for 5 years, General Motors for 5 years. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to focus on making great cars, great fuel economy. That's why they got rid. Who remembers the V8 engine? Rest in peace. What's up, Serenity? What's up, Silent Storm? Who remembers V8 engines? Some of you, if you were in the car business or if you're old enough, you remember. If you're 20, 25, you don't know. You very rarely, I mean, you might know about the Hellcats. I don't even know. Are the Hellcats and the Demons still V8 even? Some of these vehicles are getting 600, 700 horsepower. Are they V8 engines? Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know. If you know somebody who has a Hellcat or a Demon, or because I know the AMGs, when we worked for Mercedes, the AMGs, which were always 5-liter and up V8 engines, you started seeing AMGs that were twin turbo V6. Why? Because they wanted to make cleaner, better vehicles for the environment, better fuel economy. That was their focus. The electric thing, they hated it. They hated it. It's expensive. The research is expensive. The liability is huge. We could burn somebody up with our car, start a fire. Why the heck we want to do this? And that's why they're going to be out the game. From this day forward, you're going to see less and less vehicles, and they're about to lose a ton of money because all the vehicles, look at the articles. Just look at the articles. All the vehicles that they're sitting on are almost worthless. Look, and Trump already said, forget about these electric incentives. they're going to sit on lose tons of money on all this inventory. And they're going to look back and say, dang, that electric vehicle wave was a nightmare for us. Thank God it's over. Which means what happens to the people who own an electric vehicle? Sucks for you. Sucks for you. So that is what we do here. Everyone who was willing to listen, oh, you're going to win. You're going to win. So who's car shopping right now? What's up, JT? I see a lot of people checking in on TikTok. Good to see you, Humphrey Holiday, Ricardo Ramirez. Hold on, I see important time-sensitive question for you, Deshaun, over on the private page, please. Okay, you got it. You talking about the group page? Definitely. Who's car shopping right now? Who's car shopping right now? Let me know. Or you will be. You'll be car shopping. Does that mean hybrids also? Sugar mama, I think the value is in gas. So I think as long as you have the option for gas, you're good. When you don't have the option for gas, that's where the value is tanking. So I don't see this affecting hybrids. It's a great question. It's a great question. So who's car shopping? All right, I see you. I'm car shopping right now. I see you, Brandon. All right, I see you, Trust and Main Salon. Who's car shopping right now? In the spring, exiting a lease Hyundai. Okay, perfect. Okay. So who understands leasing? Type me if you understand lease. Matter of fact, here's a better question. Who doesn't lease? Who doesn't lease? You just would, whether you were taught never lease, you don't understand it, you had a bad experience with a lease. Who doesn't lease? Who doesn't lease? Because I am seeing that, thank God, a lot more people are being exposed to new knowledge. I drive too much and I have a dog. See, that doesn't matter. See, the best thing we can do right now is understand every way to acquire a car. Because how have I've kept thousands of dollars in my household by knowing all the ways to get cars. I'm going to tell you what I mean. When I was 22, I leased a Pontiac G6. I worked for Pontiac. I worked for General Motors. So I leased a Pontiac G6. It was $256 a month. Brand new car. My next lease was an Infiniti G25 for $310 a month. $310 a month. 30-something $1,000 car. My next lease was a Q50 Infiniti, $45,000 car. It was $325 a month. My next lease was I had 3 Q50s in a row. I had one the first year it came out, 2014. Then I had a 2016, and then I had a 2019. 3 Q50s. Payment was $345, $365. And I think my last one was like maybe $390. Never over $400. Why is this so important? I watch my friends drive garbage for $500 per month. And when I say garbage, I mean vehicles that were, let me give you an example. And I don't mean, let me be clear. This is how big of a difference below market leases are, because people don't know how to get them. Somebody was on my page earlier talking about, hey, these lease prices that he talks about getting are not possible. They're not possible for you. I said, bet me $1,000. I said, you want to bet me $1,000? Jump on my live today. Bet me $1,000. I won't show you 20 people who are getting the same below market lease prices that I talk about. Danielle, Kimberly, Charles on his Palisade. Look, Zafrina on her Jeep Grand Cherokee. Melissa on her Hyundai. Jen. I never heard from them. Why is this so important? Because when you buy a car, you're buying the entire car. You have to pay the entire car, and it's expensive. It's expensive. The reason why, when I watch my friends who had a Toyota, she had a Honda Civic, and she was paying $500 a month because that's what it cost. She didn't get a bad deal. A $23,000 Honda Civic costs $500 a month. That's a norm. That's what it costs. Every $5,000, some of you guys know, is about $100 per month. So she's paying $500 a month. I'm driving a $21,000 Pontiac G6. I'm paying $256. Who understands? Who understands that for any family, paying $256 a month versus $500 a month, it matters. Now, if she was paying $500 a month and she was driving a much more expensive vehicle than me, that's different. We're driving a similar price vehicle. But for some reason, you were taught to buy your cars. Now, there's a place for people who buy cars. We're going to get there. Because some people say, oh, Deshaun, should everybody lease? No, they shouldn't. We'll get to you. We'll get to the people who should not be leasing. But we don't have a problem in this country with people leasing when they should be buying. We don't have that problem. Thank God I get to talk to 2 million people all across my 4 platforms. Between TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, we got 2.3 million followers. We've been talking to thousands of people for 3 years. I get data. We do not have a problem with people who are leasing, but they should be purchasing. We have a major problem with people purchasing who should be leasing. Major problem. Friend of mine who met me about a year ago, he lives in my neighborhood. He had a Kia Telluride, $45,000 SUV. He's paying about $800 a month. He didn't get overcharged. That's what it cost. Unless you put a ton of money down, that's what it cost. He totals his vehicle. His wife totals it. He said, Deshaun, I noticed this 8-year rule you teach, which is if you don't keep your cars at least 8 years, you should be shopping for a below market lease deal, not a purchase. He said, well, I don't keep my cars more than 8 years. I said, so what's your next move? He said, so I should be shopping for a lease. I said, exactly. He shops for his lease. He had a 2022 Kia Telluride. Paying what? What was he paying? Let me see who's paying attention. What was he paying? Y'all know we dialogue here. If you're new here, we'll do a welcome shout out to the new people. But I'm talking to the people who tap in. You know we dialogue. You got to stay close to your keyboard to get a lot out of what we do here. To the people who want to save their money. There we go. 800. Thank you, Sugar Mama. Thank you, Deshul. Thank you. I see you. So he's paying 800. Vehicle gets totaled. See you, Dark Star. He says, all right, Deshaun, I'm going to shop for a lease. His best deal when he used our system, he reached out to 25 dealers online. He got more than 5 offers back. His best deal was $479 a month. Vehicles in his driveway. It's been there since earlier this year when he picked it up. You understand? Do you think he needs any more convincing? He was driving a 2022, paying $800 a month. Fortunately for him, his vehicle gets totaled. Thank God his wife isn't hurt. Why do I say fortunately? Because he would have been stuck in a 5-year contract paying $800 a month for another 3 years. But now he's paying $479 a month, and he gets to keep $300 per month in his household. He didn't downgrade. He changed his structure. Who should be purchasing that? Long-term people. 8-year plus. Because when somebody's paying $300 a month less than you for the same car, it takes you a very long time to catch up to them. You got to pay off your car, keep it, because one thing about a lease is you're always going to have a payment. So you're always going to have a payment. So eventually the person who keeps their car a long time, 8+ years, they're going to catch up. Sugar Mama, after the lease, you lease again. See, that's the thing. After I leased the Infiniti for 3 years, I went and I got another one. And then I went and I got another one. And see, A long-term person is not switching their cars 8, 10 years. Who has a car outside they've had for at least 8 years? Type me in the comments. If you have a car in your driveway right now, you've had it for at least 8 years, minimum. Type the number of years you've had it. Type the number of years you've had it. Now we're starting to see what we're going deep on the first start of this stream is the foundation of how to get cars. And if you are buying when you should be, type how many years you've had the car. Okay, I see you've had it for 8 years. I see you, I can't see your name, it just says user. If you have a car, because the best thing you could understand before we go out to get great deals is, should I be leasing? Has nothing to do with miles. We're going to get there. Nothing to do with how much you drive. Has everything to do with how long you keep the car. Yep, we'll get there, David. Yep, 30,000 miles a year, no problem. It has everything to do with how long you keep the car. Shout out to the sharers. It's time to hit the like button if you're enjoying what we're doing. Hit the like button. Appreciate you. If you're on TikTok, you know you guys like by double tapping the screen. Every time you double tap the screen, you run the likes up. So think about that. Okay, you got people on here who has, look, Arliss had a car, 14 years old. It's a 2010 QX56. Sugar Mama has a car that she's saying she had it for 8 years. Stuart Wilson on YouTube, I see you, 8 years. Okay, Facebook, I see you. It's not showing me your name, but it says you're at 8 years now. Okay, now, these, when that's the strategy, you're not thinking about leasing. If that's your strategy, all you should be thinking about is, I got to make sure I get a below market new car or used car deal. That's it. I got to make sure I pay less, make sure I don't overpay for my loan. If I'm getting a loan, make sure I get the lowest interest rate. That's your deal. You are not thinking about leasing if you are keeping the car long term, because the reason why we lease is to avoid what I call, remember this, who knows what this is? If you've been on our broadcast, every time I bring this up, type one word, what does this represent? I might have a bunch of new people on here, so I'm not going to assume everyone knows what this represents. This right here is a word that begins with a D. Begins with a D. First person to type it in, you got a free copy of my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Who knows? When I break this out, this is what you think. Every time we talk about buying versus leasing, this is what you should be thinking of. Let me go on Instagram because I can't even see the comments on Instagram. Let me see if anybody knows, because I want to give Instagram a fair shake to see if they got it. Hold on. Hold on, I'm coming to you. Okay, hold on, Stuart. Well, hold on. Now, Facebook, it's not showing me your name. Hold on. No, Maurice Johnson, you put depression. You know, that was close. I want to say, I can't say who got it first. I can't say who got it first. Because Facebook user, you typed it in depreciation. It's not showing me your name. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't say, maybe I got to look at all the comments. I think it says you Facebook user, but it's not showing me your name. And I think if you message me in our private group, then that means you already have the book. Look, Stuart Wilson said, I got the book, give it to them. So thank you for the people who actually, know that, whether you got my book or whether you've been on the previous live. This is what we're thinking about when we're talking about buying versus leasing. So when you are buying your car, we just gave a shout out to all the people who have a car they have for 8 years, 10 years. This is the value of your vehicle when you buy it. Whether you buy it new or whether you buy it pre-owned, you're losing thousands of dollars every year in depreciation. That's why you buy a $30,000 vehicle, you go back in 2 years, it's worth 20. Even if you got a great deal on it. That's just what it is. The vehicles lose value. Now think about this. Some of you who are saying, oh, Deshaun, don't I drive too much to lease? You're depreciating your vehicle whether you buy or lease. And with you guys, with the high mileage drivers, your depreciation is even much more drastic because you're destroying the value of the vehicle in a short term. You go out, you put 30,000 miles a year on a car. That's 90,000 miles in 3 years. Who is that attractive to the next buyer? That means no, that's not attractive. So when you go out and you drive high miles and you think, well, because I bought my vehicle, I guess I'm okay. No, because the asset, the depreciating asset that you actually own, you have destroyed the value of it. So if you went and paid cash for it and put, cash into it, you would see how much value you lost. The name of the game, and remember this is the moral of this story. The name of the game with deciding whether you're going to buy or lease is, how am I going to beat depreciation? Am I going to do like what the thing about these people who've had their cars a long time, this is what their depreciation looks like. If their value today is 7,000, a year from now, it's probably going to be 6,500. They're not losing much. Everyone, Stuart Wilson, you've had a car 8 years. A year from now, it's going to be worth a little bit less, not a lot. You're not going to lose thousands of dollars like when you first bought the vehicle. So what you do when you buy your vehicles and you lose all of that money in depreciation, and then you turn around and instead of getting to what I call the reward stage, which is what these other people are at, they're at the reward stage. Vehicle is not depreciating much anymore. You go and turn around and go get another vehicle. You're like a kid at the playground who just wants to keep going on the sliding board. You go on these 5 and 6 year sliding boards where you take out all these loans to pay these cars off, 5, 6 years, 7-year loans, God forbid. You pay them off. You ride that depreciation down. Your vehicle was worth 30. By the time you end up paying off the loan, it's worth 12. Then you go and turn around and you do it all over again. It's a constant loss of thousands of dollars because you're paying a lot more than a person who would be leasing would pay. So what's the moral? If you don't buy your cars and keep them 8 years, you shouldn't be buying. It's that simple. It's that simple. Nothing to do with miles. Everything to do with time. Here's an example of somebody who got a high mileage lease, above average. Jen. Jen gets a below market lease on her Honda CR-V hybrid. I always tell you guys, when you shop for your leases, we always shop with 12,000 miles per year. You must get 5 offers. Because if you don't get 5 offers on any car, and this is for used cars, this is for new cars, this is for leases. Cars are not, it's not like the Apple store. And then y'all start typing your questions. What we'll do is I had to lay out this foundation, and then we'll start going into questions. But without the right foundation, you're not going to be asking the questions you should be asking. So some people think, you might have been taught, or you might have been programmed to think that, all right, somebody will say, Deshaun, I went to Nissan. They gave me a quote for a lease. Nissan is overpriced. Thank you, David. Nissan's not overpriced. That one Nissan dealer is overpriced. So if they got you to think that every Nissan dealer is one price, you go to California, that's like the Apple store. You go to California, the Apple, you want an iPhone 16, it's going to be the same as New Jersey. It's going to be the same as Florida. It's totally different with cars. One Nissan dealer has one price. Every Nissan dealer has a different price. Some people are going to charge you over sticker. Some people are going to discount a little bit. Some people won't discount. Some people are going to give you the rebate. Some people are not going to give you the rebate. It's all over. Everyone's competing, and their goal is to make you think there's no reason to shop around because we're all about the same price. We're all the same price. That's what they really want you to think. We're all the same price. But you take a look at Jen. Jen gets 5 offers. Her best offer on a $40,000, almost $40,000 Honda CR-V, $512 a month on her lease. $512 a month, no money down. We always shop for leases with no money down. Do not let these commercials make you think you must put money down when you lease. There is no requirement of putting money down when you lease. That's a gimmick. Because if they can get you to think that, then you're going to do it. But as you can see, I'm going to show you several people throughout the rest of the stream who we always shop with no money down. All we want to do is give them our first month's lease payment. We drive off as long as it's under our budget. $512 a month she gets. That's a 1.3% lease. Her payment is 1.3% of the MSRP. The way we judge great lease deals is with the 1% rule. So if your lease payment is 1% or lower of the MSRP, you stole the vehicle. Anything 1% to 1.5%, good lease deal. Above 1.5%, bad lease deal. A lot of people signing bad lease deals. They don't know it. How do we know it's a bad lease deal, Deshaun? We add up the payments. Just add up the payments. With a lease, the name of the game with a lease is driving the most money. I see you, D Hall. We're gonna get to everybody's questions. I see you. We got a lot of questions coming in: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Let me just lay this foundation, and then we'll do some serious Q&A. When you look at Jen, she's paying $512 a month. That was her best offer of all the offers she got. We do this from home, and then she bumped it up because she needed 18,000 miles per year. In my book, I have it's like literally a paragraph. It's called "Choosing Your Miles Wisely." One of the worst things you can do with a lease is to not get the mileage that you truly need. And a lot of people do that. They'll go in knowing they need 15,000 miles per year, but they get 10. It makes no sense. Why? Because they're saving $25, $30 a month, to go from 12,000 to 18,000 miles a year. Jen is paying $50 more per month. That's it. $512 a month to 18,000 miles. Now, let's just say, for the sake of you, David, if she was doing 30,000, she might go from $512 a month up to $675 a month. It's not $300, $400 more per month to get additional miles. So what we do is we shop for our leases, we get our below market offer, because we get all these offers, we choose the lowest one, and then we bump the miles up to what we need. Because you buying your cars as a short-term driver. Now, if you're a long-term driver, David, then you don't need to lease. What does that mean? Deshaun, I keep my cars 8 years. Forget about leasing. You drive 30,000 miles per year. Get a below market purchase, new car, used car. There's plenty of cars, 8 times 30, that's 240,000 miles. I'd be getting a car that has a history of, being good, on a high mileage, Hondas, Toyotas. There's a couple cars that have long-term records I just drive that car. When I get to 8 years, 9 years, I'll go swap it out. But if you're not keeping your cars that long, if you get to the 3-year mark, 4-year mark, and you're like, okay, it's time for me to go and put, I know you. I spent 14 years in the car business, 10 years inside dealerships. People coming in, hey, Deshaun, I want to get out of this car. Yeah, I drive a lot. Okay, how much do you owe on it? I still owe like 14,000. Well, you got 160,000 miles on it, so the car's worth like 5. You got 10 grand of negative equity. The only way you're going to avoid that is if you put a lot of money down. That's it, because you're prepaying the losses. So it's like every deal you do, you either put 10 grand down, 15 grand down. Yeah, you're not going to have no negative equity, but you ain't getting that money back. That money's gone. The car is drinking it. Like, okay, thank you for that 15,000. You won't get that back. When you lease, you're just paying a little bit every month, and you're keeping that money in your bank account. Depreciation, you're not going to beat it. That's where we're losing. That's where you're losing. Depreciation in the short term with cars is going to destroy you. It's just you can't avoid it. Some people think, oh man, my cars go up in value. I got a car with high resale value. You don't own a rare Porsche or some rare, collector's item car. We had one run, y'all, 2021 to 2023. We had one run where cars had limited supply, and we were able to sell cars for 10, 15,000 more than what they're worth. 7,000 more. That's why if you look at my old TikTok videos, when I came to TikTok and Instagram, I was wanting cash out, everybody. Sell your cars. You're never going to have a time in history where we could do this again. Sell it. And we had people selling leases, making 7, 10 grand. We had people buying cars that they had just bought in 2020, turning around, selling them 2022, getting all their money back. It was beautiful. It's over. It's over. We're back to a normal market, normal depreciation, and that's just what it is. Okay? So the foundation I just laid is step 1 in my book. My new digital book is called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. You can Google it. It has everything I teach step by step on how to get below market leases, purchases, new cars, used cars. in a step-by-step way. What we just went over was step one, which is what I call the most important question, which is how many years are you keeping your next car? This is step one. The next car you're going to buy, how many years are you going to keep it? If it's less than 8, then you need to be shopping for a below market lease. If it's more than 8, you should be shopping for a purchase. That's step one. So now, part of my welcome offer, you can get your copy of Car From Home for 75% off. It's normally $97, but if you go to my TikTok bio, the Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments, we have a link for you, and you can activate your 75% off for 30 minutes. That's my welcome offer to you. As long as you get there before 30 minutes, you got your book. It'll be in your inbox by the time you get done with the stream, and you'll have everything we teach in a step-by-step way to make sure you always get below market deals. Okay, but that's only step one, what we just went over. Now, let's get into some questions. Go grab your book, come back to the stream, and make sure when you get your book, you screenshot the thank you page. As soon as you purchase, it's a page that says open your book below. I also email you a copy, but sometimes people type in their email wrong. You're typing a little fast, and on that page you're going to screenshot is my support team's email, just in case you don't see that email in your inbox in 10 minutes. Just email my support team and they'll get you your copy of your book. Okay, but it's also on the thank you page, so you can save it to your computer. Okay, Dolan, we had a lot of questions, so let's just start pulling them up and let's get to them. You guys can keep typing your questions. Dolan's gonna pull them in as much as we'll go over as much as we can. Can we go over what to do when getting a lease? We'll get to you. We got you, D Hall. We're coming. I see you, Instagram. Okay, I bought a car from a private seller. He's basically scammed me, and now I have the car with no title. What can I do now? First thing I do is make a police report. If we're talking about a seller who illegally sold a car or sold a car without a title, you don't want to be trying to do these things yourself. You want to make a police report, and you want to let the seller know I'm making a police report. Because when you start accusing people of a crime, people start to do different things when they know the police are involved. See, when we're scamming people, I had a video that I posted the other day. Somebody called me and said, a friend of mine, he said he bought a car from a dealership. They didn't honor the warranty. I said, okay, first thing you do is call the police, have them over there, meet you over there, have your paperwork ready, and you're going to make a police report that this dealer is not honoring the warranty. And this see, when people don't like to see police, companies don't like to see police. And especially if you're recording too, hey, I'm making a police report today, I'm live. People don't like that type of publicity. So the first thing I would tell you to do is let this private seller know who hasn't gotten you the title, I'm making a police report. Give them as much information as possible, and then go from there. You might want to go afterwards because is the vehicle stolen? We don't know. How do we know it's not stolen? He doesn't have a title. So, hey, let's pull his vehicle up. Where did it come from? It's a tough thing. See, the bad thing about cars is once you make the decision, it's hell to get out of it. Once you make a bad financial decision with a car, it's extremely tough. You got to eat the loss. So the best thing to do is find out, how do I get cars without making mistakes? Because when I make a mistake, I have to eat it. It's buyer beware with cars. It's not like real estate where, you can sue people. People can lose their license. Very different. With cars, buyer beware. You're really on your own, which is why y'all notice we don't hear a lot of dealers being sued. Right? Y'all notice that? Look, and who knows that there's tons of dealerships all around the country ripping people off. There's 100,000 used car dealers in the U.S., 17,000 new car dealers in the U.S. So you're talking over 110, 115,000 retail establishments for cars. We know it's a lot of them that's ripping people off. We don't see them in court. We don't see them being sued. We don't see them going out of business. Why? Because their contracts say it's your job to protect yourself. And unfortunately, not many lawyers want to take the case. If it's not a blatant criminal aspect, not many lawyers are going to take the case to sue a car dealership because they know their paperwork says it's buyer beware. Okay? So that's the first thing that I would do. Make the police report and try to see if we can track down the source of this car, where did it come from, who owns it, And you know, that's the first thing I do. And I wish you the best with that. That sucks, man. Go ahead, Dolan. All right. What do you do if you drive more than 12,000 miles per year? That doesn't matter. 12,000 miles per year is still on the low side of miles. 12,000. Now, if you drive more than that, if you drive 15,000, that's just above average. What I'm teaching now when it comes to shopping for cars is, especially used cars, 12,000 miles and lower is low miles. So right now we're in the 2025 model year. Whenever you're shopping for a used car, you want to ask yourself, what model year am I in? And usually after the fall, you're going to be in the next model year. So even if you're in 2025, okay, you could be in a 2026 model year. So then we look back and say, okay, if I'm looking for a 3-year-old car, average low miles is 10,000 miles per year or 12. Now, once you get up to 15, that's above average. That's not high yet. Above 15, 16, 17, 18, now we're getting to the high mileage. So it's not a matter of, 12,000 miles per year is really, it's still low. If you call it average, you can call it average, but there's nothing there's nothing that you would change based on you driving 12,000 miles a year or 15. And again, it has nothing to do with how much you drive. Leasing versus buying has nothing to do with how much you drive. The reason I learned about high mileage leases, I was a sales manager at Hyundai for a very short period of time, 6 weeks. It was a highway dealer on Route 1, New Jersey. It was literally like the owner's indicted. If you ever could imagine the typical highway dealership, this was it. And I've always worked at phenomenal places. I've always worked with great management teams, great sales staff, great culture. This was the opposite. This was like straight up, drugs in the bathroom, fights. I had to break up a fight between two of my sales team. It was just like, and it wasn't a physical fight, but they were about to fight. So I had to be peacemaker there. It was just 6 weeks. I said, thank you. I gave them the key back to the car that they let me drive, the demo. And I said, okay, thank you. God bless. This is not for me. But I learned something extremely valuable there. I had a customer who came back. He was returning his lease. He had 72,000 miles on the car. And I said, wow, you leased this? He said, yeah, I always lease. He said, I used to buy my cars and I would just make big down payments, $10,000 down payments. I wasn't getting the money back. And I just started leasing and I put a lot less money into the car. And when I looked at his paperwork, his lease payment for 25,000 miles per year was only like $150 more per month than what a normal below market deal would be. So if let's say a below market deal on a Hyundai back then, Sonata was like, let's say, $299 or $325, he was paying like $500, and let's say it was $325. I remember looking and saying, this is like $150, $175 more, but you're driving 25,000 miles per year. Now, fast forward, if he's driving 25,000 miles per year and he bought the vehicle, and then he comes back in 4 years with 100,000 miles on it, he still owes a ton of money, because y'all got to realize when you take out a car loan, your car loan moves so slow, doesn't it? You'll look at your loan and 2 years later, you're like, wait, I still owe all of this? Yeah, it moves very, very slow because it's amortizing. So you don't really start seeing that the car loan's being paid off until when you got like 2 years left. But the first 3-4 years, you're like, man, I'm not even making a dent in this thing. Which means when you come back in 4 years with 100,000 miles on your car as a high mileage driver, your car is worthless, not worthless, but literally it's probably worth half of what you bought it for, but your loan is still very high. So when I saw that, it's like, wow, that's when I began to teach my clients in the dealership about high mileage leasing, because I had never experienced it before then. I had never really experienced, I never saw it. It didn't click until then. Has nothing to do with how much you drive. Has everything to do with how long you're going to keep the car. That's why Step one in my book is called The Most Important Question. There's nothing more important than this. How many years? Hey, Tawana, what's going on? Thanks for tapping in. There's nothing more important than how many years you're going to keep the car. Because if you were buying, and we'll wrap this up with this statement, if you were buying a depreciating anything, if you sat down with a financial advisor and you said, okay, I want to buy this stock, and they told you, well, this stock has a short-term depreciation, but in the long run, it goes up. Well, can you explain that to me? Okay, well, the people who buy this stock, it goes down tremendously for 5 years, but then it shoots up for the next 6 years. You'd be like, okay, well, I'm only going to keep it about 5 years. They would tell you, then don't buy this stock. You said, well, I'm buying it anyway. Well, that's a bad decision. That's what's happening with cars. You're looking at cars. Every car you look at is going to go like this for the first 5, 6 years. So when you buy it, but you're not keeping your car more than 4, 5, 6 years, you literally, right when the car is going to start leveling out in depreciation, which means this is the reward stage. This is the benefit to you for buying the car. You went through this hell. Now it leveled out, and you have a vehicle that you paid off that you can keep for 4, 5, 6, 7 more years, paid off, not really losing value. That is this is the purchase. This is who should be purchasing. If this is not you, you're just riding this roller coaster down, and then you go and you get another car, ride it down. It has nothing to do with how much you drive. And the more you drive, the steeper the decline is over the first 5, 6 years. Understand this. All right. I think we made everybody clear on that. If you're clear, type $signs if you got that. Type $signs if you got that. Okay, everybody clear? Type $signs if you got that. Let's see. Okay, I see you, Dark Star. I see you, Tawana Bank. Okay, I see you. Okay, I see you, Sugar Mama. Okay, Sharon. Perfect. That's what all right. We want to make sure you are locking these concepts in. These concepts do not change. We are so far ahead of what's being taught in the market. You don't have to worry about these principles changing pretty much in our lifetime. Something would have to drastically change with cars for these principles to change. We're just ahead of the market. And unfortunately, if more car salespeople were taught these parameters and they were educating their clients, we wouldn't have to. There would be no place for us to do online education because car salespeople would be held to a very high standard with the threat of losing their license if they had to get one, or losing their ability to even be in the business if they had to learn these things, but they don't. You come in with a good smile, you say, hey, I want to make some money. You will be selling cars the next week, working with the public. Never sold cars a day in your life, don't know about loans, depreciation, resale value. Come on in, say, hey, all you got to do, if anybody's looking for a job, you want a career change, you just like, man, you know what? I think I would go right into a car dealership. You go into 10 car dealerships, say, hey, can I speak to the manager? Hey, look, I'm looking for a job. I just really want to make money. And you know what? I think I got a good personality. You'll have a job. You'll be selling cars in a week. That's who's helping you make $50,000, $100,000 decisions. That's who's helping you. So protect yourself. All right, my car insurance told me that insurance would double on the lease versus a purchase. That's just not true. You need to shop other insurance rates. That's just not true. Now, if you have a vehicle that has, you have if you maybe have a liability only policy, but full coverage is full coverage. If we got to, watch this. This is interesting. When you lease, what shows up on your credit report, when I lease, like, let's say I lease a $30,000 car. Let me use my car. The last lease I had was a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Jeep Grand Cherokee. I see you, Presario. I see you, Stately Natural. Thanks for tapping in. I see the $signs, Instagram. What I noticed, like, all right, I got a $33,000, $35,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, 2018. I leased it for $330 a month. No money down, $330 a month. I paid about $12,000 over 39 months. When I pulled up my credit report, that's the amount that shows. 12,000. 12,000. Why is this important? Well, if I had purchased that $35,000 vehicle, how much is showing on my credit report? Balance due. 33, 34, 35,000. Whatever the whole loan is. So now outstanding is 12,000. Outstanding is 12,000. If God forbid the vehicle's totaled, the insurance company pays it off and I go get another vehicle. I don't have to worry about losses or anything like that. Now, if I put money down, that's a different question. That's the reason why we need to know our risk of putting money down on a lease, because if the vehicle's stolen or totaled, you don't get the money back. So it's very important. That's another reason we shop for every lease with no money down. Very important. But when it comes to insurance, the same vehicle that I'm driving for $33,000 that I leased is the same vehicle that that if I purchased it, I would need to insure with full coverage. Nothing changes, but with a lease, I'm responsible for less. Think about that. So from an insurance standpoint, I'm responsible for less. I'm only responsible for $12,000 of payments over the next 3 years on this vehicle. The bank is responsible for the balance. So that's why I don't see a lease. I've leased vehicles. I purchased vehicles. We leased several cars before we purchased our Infiniti truck. I didn't see my insurance drop when we purchased this Infiniti truck. I didn't be like, oh no, I didn't see my insurance go up. So what it sounds like to me is you now need to shop for insurance. Because if your insurance broker told you that your insurance is going to go up by leasing, they're incompetent. Because there's no way, maybe the companies they use, or like I said, maybe you have liability only. If you got liability only, which that's not even recommended. So if you have liability only, if your vehicle has any value, you should look into that. You should Google why having only liability is a bad thing. I'm not giving insurance advice because it's not my thing, but I have read it. So I can't see your insurance company telling you that and it making any type of financial sense. You might need to get a new broker, and you're one of the rare people that even still uses an insurance broker. Shop him against an online broker. Go to Insurify, online broker. See if Insurify will shop a bunch of companies for you and save you money. Because Insurify will shop a bunch of companies for you, and why are we paying a human that got to eat? I'd rather an app that takes a small percentage of commission from the companies than a person who needs to actually feed his whole family based on my insurance policies and premiums. I'm gonna move on. All right. Now look, I don't talk about insurance. That's a great question. But I talk about everything else in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's 5-star rated. You can Google it. You can thank you to everyone who's reviewed it. And you can see that everything's in there, step by step. Leasing, below market leases, below market purchases, below market used cars, new cars, all in there step by step. You can get a copy as part of my welcome offer for 75% off. It's normally a $97 book. It's worth way more than that. But I had to price it somewhere to let you know it's not a normal book. It'll be one of the most valuable books you own. I won't say the most valuable, but financially, it will be one of the most valuable books you own. So part of my welcome offer, you can get a copy for 75% off. That'll be $24, but it's only for 30 minutes. So you can go to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments, click those links. You'll activate your 75% off, and then just grab your book, and it'll be in your inbox by the time we get off the stream. You'll have everything we teach step by step, everything we've helped thousands of people do. When you type in my name, you can see all I care about is the people's results. That's why we sit here all day and we talk about other people's results, not just my results, people who are using these strategies and getting these results over and over and over again. All right, so go grab your book, come back to the stream, and thank you to everybody who's reviewed the book. It does matter. It does matter. We appreciate you. All right, Dolan, pull up the next question. Let's keep it moving. Okay. All right, we got a lot of questions coming. I'm seeing questions coming from every single platform. So, all right, type your question and try to type it in one. Don't type it in like multiple kind of segments. All right, go ahead, Dolan, bring that one back up. My car's okay. Well, we already did that. Let's move to the next one. All right, is it worth considering a lease if you plan to keep the car at the end of the term? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Like, I don't know. Okay, let me answer this. So, why are we leasing and then we want to buy it at the end? I can't get that. All right, let me be clear on this. This is a horrible way to move, and I'm going to explain why. The benefit of leasing is we drive vehicles for cents on the dollar compared to people who purchase. Look at this. Raphael has a $46,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee. She's paying $549 a month, no money down. Now, every $5,000 on a loan is how much per month? Every $5,000 on a loan is how much per month? Thank you, Sherwin. I'm using the book currently. It's extremely helpful. Thank you very much. All right, and I see your question too, Sherwin. We'll pull that in. But every $5,000 on a loan is how much per month? Thank you, Robert Gregory. All right, $100. Jen 79, $100. Listen. Y'all know I love seeing the stuff sticking. That's what shows me like you're locked in. Okay. Again, principles that will not change. Principles that will not change. Every $5,000 on a loan is about $100 per month. I see you, KK07. Yes. So now let's compare this below market lease that Raphael got for $549 to what it would have cost her if she purchased this Jeep. Let's just say, because I know what you're thinking. Well, Deshaun, we're not paying list price there. Let's just say that she got a great deal. Okay, let's say she got a great deal. Let's say they took off $6,000. Let's say she got it for $40. She got it for $40. Oh, and now let's go. What about the taxes? Okay, let's just give her the taxes too. So let's be ultra conservative to show you how different a below market lease is from a purchase. Let's say they took off $6,000 for her, and let's just not even include the taxes, which would probably be another $3,000. $40,000 loan, her payment's about $800 a month for 5 years. If she takes it for 6 years, she might be able to get it to like $720, depends on the interest rate. She's paying $549. She's paying $549. Now, again, if she's a short-term person, this is what matters. If you're a long-term person, then take the higher payment, pay off the vehicle, and then, but when you go from this type of beautiful structure, driving brand new cars for cents on the dollar, to now purchasing a used car. What do you mean? I thought we were talking about buying the lease out. If you buy your lease out, you are doing nothing but purchasing a used car. The only difference is it's your car. That's the only difference. When you buy your lease out, you come in, and I remember people would come into the dealership. What's so bad is it's not even exciting. So they go in, they do the paperwork, they come out because you got to get a new loan, or if you're going to pay cash, and then you come out and we need a new temp tag, and I'm putting the temp tag on the car, and I'm like, hey, you just bought your car. They're like, I guess you don't even get the excitement of buying a used car. When you buy a used car, at least when you drive it off, you're like, oh, yeah, baby, it's new to me. You don't even get that when you buy your lease out. So now let's go deeper on why buying your lease is a horrible idea. Average lease is going to be 3 years. We do not take 4-year leases. Why? You're paying too much for a vehicle you're giving back. Add up the payments. The value with leasing is when you add up those payments compared to what you bought, the MSRP, it should be low. Should be a low percentage of what I drove this much car for this much money. Great value. So when we take 4-year leases and there's 4 years of payments for a vehicle we're giving back, bad value. So now, average lease is 3 years. In order, when you buy your lease out, in order to get a payment that is somewhat close to what the original lease payment was, you're going to have to take another 5 or 6 year loan. Now you've already had it for 3. Now you're coming back and you're going to buy the balance for 5 years. Let's give it the minimum. How many years on the loan is that, people? How many years of payments on the exact same car is that? Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Tanj. 8. Nope, Jim. It's 84. No, I'm wrong. It's 96 months. Jim says 72 months. No, it's not. 72 months would be 6 years. That's the max loan that we take. In my book, I have something called the rule of 72 and the 10th birthday, which means you should never take a loan longer than 72 months, and your car should be paid off by the 10th birthday if you want to avoid the risk of having an older car with a payment. Things can go wrong and you still have a payment. So we never take a loan. So 72 months, Jim, is 6 years. When you buy your lease, when you lease for 3 and then you buy it for 5 years, that's 96 months of payments, 8 years of payments on the exact same car. What smart person is taking 8-year loan? Anybody signing up for that? Any of you walking into a dealership saying, hey, give me the 96-month loan? Anybody? Is anyone going to walk into a car dealership at any point and say, hey, all right, show me what it looks like for 96 months? I'm seeing, look, we're on 4 platforms. I was quiet on Instagram. Sharon said no. Anybody? Never, right? But we have tons of people. Look, Tan said, hell no. But we have tons of people who have leased their vehicle for 3 years and they go and buy it they buy the balance out with a 5-year loan. And there are some who take a 6-year loan. And I'm going to tell you why, because I remember when I started teaching this for our books, my Infinity lease was ending. And I said, you know what? I want to look at, my payment was $390 on that last Infinity. I wanted to see how much it would have cost me to have a payment close to a $390 payment to buy out the balance on the Infinity, 6 years. And it was a little higher. It was like $410. So many people are buying their leases out with a 6-year loan when they've already leased the vehicle for 3. 9 years of payments. That's 108 months. It's 108 months of payments on the exact same car. The bank loves you. That's why we don't mix buying versus lease. We don't mix. If I'm going to lease, look, here's the question. Simple things. Simple principle to lock in. When I'm leasing, my first question whenever I'm buying my vehicles is, am I going to keep it more than 8 years? Am I going to keep it definitely more than 8 years? If your answer is no, okay, I'm shopping for a lease. Okay, my lease is about to be up. All right, time to start thinking about my next vehicle. What's my question? How many years am I keeping the next vehicle? How many years am I keeping the next vehicle? It doesn't change. Okay, I think I want to start. I want to buy something. I got my eye on something. I want to keep it at 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. I got my dream vehicle that I want to get right now. I ain't think I'm going to keep that thing until the wheels fall off. Perfect. No point in leasing. Don't even think about leasing. These are the principles. Because the depreciation, a person who's driving a below market lease, you cannot catch up with them if you purchase. If you got a used car, if you bought a new car, doesn't matter. They're driving vehicles for so cheap. Below market leases. I'm not talking about commercial leases. I ain't talking about the stuff you hear your people saying, man, look at I'm paying a lot for this lease. That ain't us. Don't listen to people who don't know how to get below market deals. They're going to tell you, look at Teddy, $73,000 BMW, $829 a month. His final payment, that was his counter offer, $856 a month. He uses our system. One of the things I teach is we do this from home. We go online, we contact multiple dealers. We actually contact 25 dealers in about 20 minutes. I have email scripts that you use, you copy and paste, and we get at least 5 offers and then we choose the best offer. Very rarely is the best offer going to be your closest dealer. Like, look at the closest dealer. He said his closest dealer's offer came in at 937. His best offer was 856. So the closest dealer is not usually going to be your best offer, because when they see a zip code, they think, oh, when I worked for Mercedes, they told us that they told us NADA tells us most customers only shop 2 dealers. Car dealers know that about you when you walk in. So that means, all right, we're going to talk to this person. Odds are they're not going to shop us, and they're going to try to negotiate with us, and that's okay. We'll tell them we're giving them a good deal. We'll take off $5,000. We'll show them this, but we'll never give them, see, 8 out of 10 dealers are not going to go below a certain number. So you don't know that when you say, look, you might think, let me show you how dangerous negotiating with a dealer one-to-one is and why we never do it. You take somebody like Sean. Sean gets $21,000 off of his F-150 Lightning. If he had negotiated with one dealer on this, let me go to his follow-up, because he was asking me, did I think this was a great deal? And I said, well, if it's your best offer, then it's a great deal. Hold on. Let me see. Can I find this follow-up on Sean? See, I want y'all to understand, we never talk numbers in a dealer. We never talk numbers in a dealer. You don't have any leverage. You cannot shop competitors. And the only way that you're going to get a great deal is shopping competitors. In fact, I don't need to go deep on that. I don't need to go deep on that. When you don't shop, when you don't step back and get multiple offers, somebody might take off $7,000. There's somebody who bought an F-150 Lightning just like Sean, just like the $21,000 discount I just showed you with Sean. And they were in the dealer and they were negotiating back and forth. And that guy or that woman went home and said, guess what? I got a great deal on this truck, $73,000. Guess how much I got them to take off? Oh, how much? $12,000. Ooh, $12,000. That's good. That's the biggest discount we ever got. Yeah, I roughed them up. Yeah, he didn't want to do it. But meanwhile, what do we know? Sean shopped the whole market, got multiple dealers, saw several offers, saw the $12,000 discount, saw the $7,000 discount, saw a $15,000 discount. And then this one dealer comes in who's far away from him, who said, hey, I'll take off $21,000. I'm on my way. That's why we never talk numbers in the dealership. That's why our system is called Cars from Home. 90% to sometimes 100% of what we do and how we get these below market deals is done from home, not in the dealership. So all of this is in my new book. It's a digital book, so it'll be in your inbox in minutes. You can get your copy as part of my welcome offer for 75% off. It's normally $97. You can Google it, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealers. You'll see it's 5-star rated on Goodreads. And you can get your copy for 75% off. You won't pay the normal $97 price. You will be you'll get yours for $24, but it's only for 30 minutes. So go to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. Click that link, and then you'll see that we have you'll see the countdown. As long as you get there before the 30 minutes, you got yours for $24. That's our welcome offer. And make sure you screenshot the thank you page, because on that page is the link to open the book as soon as you purchase, but it also is my support team's email in case you type your email address wrong. We can't send a book to an incorrect email. So if that book is not in your inbox in 10 minutes, just email my support team and we'll get you the book. All right, that's my welcome offer. Go get your book. Come on back to the stream. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Let's keep it moving. I know we got some more. I see KK. I see we got a... Go ahead. That's a good question. New presidency, but we'll get to that. I drive 30,000 miles a year. Well, we already hit on that. I actually answered that already about high mileage leasing. Not we anybody who just jumped on and you drive a lot of miles, 18,000, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000. You want to go jump on YouTube. Watch the early part of the stream, because that we saved the stream, or Facebook, and you'll see we went deep on that for about 15 minutes about how leasing has nothing to do with the mileage you drive. I gave you examples of high mileage leases, Jen with her 18,000 mile a year lease. And then I talked to you about when I learned about high mileage leasing, which is when in Hyundai and my client who came in with a 25,000 mile a year lease, and they were only paying $175 more per month than a great lease. So yeah, just go back and catch that. Go ahead, Dolan. Go ahead, Dolan. This is a similar question. 30,000 K lease with just a similar question. My daughter just crashed her car. Sorry to hear that. Credit is mediocre. Any tips? I go the least expensive car that I can get. When we don't have the credit, one of the worst things we can do is to tie up money in a long-term deal where we take all right, let me put it like this. In my book, I have two strategies. See, let me explain why the first question never changes. First question is always, how many years are you going to keep the car? Because there's two types of people who don't have the credit and they're keeping their car long term, or people who don't have the credit and they're not long term, which means they should be leasing, but they don't qualify for a lease right now. So let's assume that you're the first type of person. You're going to keep the car 8 years or more, but the credit's not good. Your mission is to make sure you get a great car. You can use our strategies, new car, used car. We need to get a great quality car below market below market price. We don't want to go out there and overpay for the car, because this is what people who don't have good credit tend to do. You go out with desperate vibes, desperate energy, and you basically say, whoever can get me in a car, I'll sign up for it. Which is why I've seen people rave about, hey, go see Joe. Man, and one thing about people who don't have good credit, they will go and tell their friends, and any of their friends who may not have good credit, hey, go see my man Joe, he'll get you approved. Joe is making tons of money on you, because Joe is making, I remember these deals would make $8,000 to $10,000 minimum for the dealership. Between the price of the car they sold you for and between the loan, these deals were washing out at $8,000 to $10,000 minimum. Very, very profitable deals for the dealership. Why? Because the people they don't know there's other options. Whenever we buy a car, we always separate the purchase of our car from our loan. We don't mix these two things, because we need to get bids. Some of you who've been on our streams, you know everything we do is a bid. We need to be getting bids. When we're getting our loan, we have multiple banks and credit unions submitting offers to us, and we pick the best one, because there's a lot of money in loans. Why do you think banks are in the loan business? There's a lot of money in loans. They don't sell cars, they sell money. When we are purchasing a car, we are getting bids because all the dealers have different prices. So someone needs to win a bid. When you go into one dealer and just work with them, you've given yourself no opportunity to see the market and get bids, get offers, multiple offers. And when we sell our car, we get bids. We only sell our cars to companies where we could get multiple cash offers. Driveway, Vroom's out of business. Carvana, CarMax. We have 6 companies in my book. This is step 2. So the point is, if we are a long-term person, our mission is to find the best car we can find, because we know we're going to pay more in interest. But interest can be fixed with a refinance when my credit's better. So if I was buying a car to keep for a long time, 8, 10 years, but I don't have the credit, I'm going to go and I'm going to find the best car. I'm going to shop for my loan independently. We have a strategy in my book. It's called the bank bidding war. We separate these things. Now, because your bad credit or your mediocre credit should not be between you and the dealership. It's between you and the people loaning you money. Type a $sign if that makes sense. I'm going to say that again. Anyone who has mediocre credit or bad credit Your bad credit or mediocre credit is not between you and the dealership. The dealership sells the car. It's between you and the lender. The lender comes to you and says, hey, all right, you're buying a $20,000 car here. We'll loan you the money, but we got to charge you 22%. Cool. I got a great price on the car, though. I got a great price on that car, which makes it even better for the lender because they're going to see, okay, the loan to value rate. Yeah, you did get a great price on the car. Helps us just in case we need to repo the car. We like that you're not underwater. Versus walking into a dealer saying, hey, you know what? My credit's not good. Can you get me approved? Now, not only are you going to pay 22%, but you're going to pay for the same car that you could have got on the market for 20. They're going to charge you 23 plus interest. So now they're burying you because you came in desperate. So my mission would be to find a great car, shop for my loan separately, and then realize, all right, if I'm paying 22%, all right, let me work on my credit. Work on my credit. Great. Year from now, 18 months from now, I got good credit. Let me refinance this car loan. I'm keeping the car though. That's different than a person who's not going to keep the car. It's a short-term person. If I'm a short-term person, I should be leasing, but I can't qualify for a lease right now because I'm not at like a 660 credit score or higher. Let me just shop. All right, let me go and I'm gonna buy an inexpensive car, least expensive car I could get, $10,000, $12,000 quality car, and then I'm gonna flip out of that car in 2 years. I'm gonna have 2 years of on-time payments, build up my credit, and then I'm flipping into a lease. Everything we just laid out is not what most people do. Most people will go in, they say, look, my credit's not good, but I want to get that $23,000, Honda Civic with all the features. Honda Accord with all the features that I want. Boom. Now they're overpaying for the car, not really shopping for a quality car. Maybe they got it if it's a Honda, but you still could get a bad Honda. Are you checking service records? Are you checking accident history? You could have a great car, but you bought a bad one. And most people don't want to sacrifice. They just want to go in and get the car. So that's the two strategies. Those are both in my book, by the way. Short-term strategies for people with bad credit. I should be leasing, Deshaun, but I can't qualify right now. What's my setup? So that in 2 years, I am leasing brand new cars. That's the play. And then the long-term strategy for people who are buying, don't have the credit right now, is quality car. Let's get our loan. We'll pay more for it. When our credit's better, we refinance the loan. Both in there. So if you want to get your copy of Cars from Home, my new digital book, it's 5-star rated, you can go to my TikTok bio, my welcome offer, 75% off. You'll have everything I laid out step by step and more. Because your household's going to be different. The reason why Cars from Home, my new digital book, is so valuable is because in your household, let's say your spouse wants to lease, your daughter needs a pre-owned car, you want to buy a new car, it's all in there. Your spouse is a high mileage driver, your daughter wants a used car, you don't have good credit. There's 3 different strategies in there for you 3. Y'all are 3 totally different people, and each path is in that book for you guys to get to the below market purchases based on that. Okay, so if you want your copy, go get it. It's part of my welcome offer, 75% off, but only for 30 minutes. In my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, click that link, go grab your book. You'll get it for $24 instead of the normal $97 price, as long as you get there before the 30-minute timer expires. Right? Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next one up. Who's getting value out of the stream? Type a dollar sign in the comments. Type a dollar sign if you're getting value out of what we do here. We hold ourselves accountable to not holding back. The reason why, we never hold back. It's all about, if you can remember all of this. I got tons of free videos that's been hitting the airwaves for 3 years. You want to try to maneuver through them all, piece stuff together, God bless you. You want to come on the stream, listen, try to piece it together, God bless you. Some of you like, yo, I ain't going to remember all of this. Let me go get the blueprint. Let me make sure no matter what I can reference it. Okay, everything's in the blueprint. That's the purpose. We make sure you can get the information no matter how you want it. No matter how you want it. Some of you who like Deshaun, you work with people. I see you showing a lot of people in your Facebook group. Yeah, we work with people all the time. I've worked with over 2,000 people since 2021. We have a video where we could, jump in a Facebook group where we do Zoom calls twice a month. Just go to my bio, go to the same links. You'll see, Dolan, can you post that link for the Shop with Deshaun in the comments for YouTube and Facebook? Those of you who want to know about us actually shopping together, that's fine too. Again, get in where you fit in. Whatever, I don't care how you get the information, use it so that you can keep this money in your family's bank account and out of these cars. These cars are sucking up people's money like relentlessly. How do you see the new presidency affecting car buying and rates? Whatever the market does, there's always three prices: above market value, below market value. We got deals. Let me show this deal that Bonita got during the pandemic, which has been historically, they say, the worst time to purchase a car. Now, I told people for years, if you didn't need to purchase, hold out, let this whole thing blow over, unless you had a vehicle to sell. Because if you had vehicles to sell that you could sell, cash out, because they were worth $7,000 to $10,000 to $12,000 more than they would be worth today. But for those who you were just adding a vehicle, if you didn't have to do that, we didn't do it. But if you had to do it, we had people who needed cars. Come on in. Let's show you how to get below market deals, even when the market's high. Bonita gets her Kia Telluride, December 2022. This is still when people were paying $5,000 over sticker for Kia Tellurides. She stays at home. She uses our system. She gets multiple offers. She gets a $45,000 Kia Telluride, $600 a month. In fact, it's an S, might be 46, $600 a month. Now, I told you what my neighbor got it for this year, $479. We don't know if it's the same model, but let's just figure it's similar. So below market at that time, the below market leases on Kia Tellurides was $600, because there were people leasing them for $700, $800, $850. I wish I could find them. They're everywhere. Some of them are still in those leases. They can't wait for them to expire. They're still paying $800 a month for their Kia Tellurides. She got it for $600. So no matter what the market does, the key is knowing how to get below market deals. And how do we get below market deals? It's very simple. We need to get enough offers to see the market, and then we pick the best one. It's very simple. You can't get below market deals going into one dealer or two, because that's not the market. That's two dealerships. The market is within 100 miles, 75 miles. What is the market? Everyone who has this car I want, what's the best offer? Doesn't matter. And here's what I always say. People with no skills are going to pay above market value. People with negotiating skills are going to pay market value. People who make dealers bid and get multiple offers get below market value. Because there's no I could say to a negotiator, here's how I know. Negotiator comes out the dealership. Hey, yeah, man, I just got a great deal, man. I worked them over. I've been coming back for 2-3 months working them over. Okay, are you willing to bet $1,000 that I can't get a better deal than you? Nah, I don't know. I wouldn't take that bet. Why not? You've been working them over. Yeah, but I wouldn't take a better. Now, I probably can't. I'm not gonna get a better deal from you from them. But for that car that you just drove out here with, bet me $1,000 I can't find a better deal than that in this market from home. Nah, I'm not gonna take that bet. That's why negotiators don't get below market deals. There's no confidence that they actually got a below market deal because they haven't seen the market. They go into one dealer, maybe two, they negotiate. There's no confidence. On the opposite end, you could have a person with no negotiating skills, which is what I love. The people with no negotiating skills, you're the people who we love, because you don't come in thinking you got the whole thing figured out. Negotiators, you got to come in unlearn because they want to bring all this old stuff that they do into a new system. You can't put new wine in old wineskins. So you come in, blank canvas, somebody like Zafrina, stays at home, $65,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee electric vehicle, $579 a month. It's her best offer out of all the offers. She said, look, used all the scripts, email scripts, contacted the dealer, sealed the deal on this lease, $579 a month. That's a 0.88% lease. She didn't get that negotiating. That didn't come from negotiating. Look at Ansley. In fact, look at Rosalie. $60,000 QX60 Infinity 2024, $592 a month. I'm gonna leave that up for the people who will read it. $592 a month. Not from negotiating. She didn't get that going back and forth, sweating, sitting at home, letting the market come to her. So a presidency is not going to change anything. No matter what the market does, we are going to be getting below market lease deals, below market purchase deals, below market used car deals. It's not going to change. People with no strategies are going to just broadcast to you. There's no deals out here. When you hear that, don't believe it. Look, if you're in our world, all you'll do is just feel bad for them, man. Listen, man, you should check this book out. Get all these offers, man. You like call around. Even if you tell them, call around. Get at least 5 offers. Even if you can't get them to come over to our world, totally. Hey, call around, man. Call a couple dealers. Get at least 5 offers. Don't just go to this one-to-one thing. Oh, man, yeah, cars are expensive now. Anyone talking like that, they don't know how to shop. So what they want to do is broadcast that to you and have you be like, oh, there's no deals out here. Now you walk into a dealership and you just like, hey, yeah, man, you know, I know it's no deal. I think about we used to get deals back in the day, man. We would get big discounts off, and the car salesman sitting there like, yeah, it's crazy how the market's changed, right? Like we can't even, you know, these cars are now selling for, you know, there's no cars out here, right? You know, inventory is still limited. Is it? Yeah, man, it's, yeah, after the pandemic, you know, we had the pandemic with the chips, you know, we had the, you know, then we had the strike. You remember the auto worker strike? Yeah, that's right. Dang, man, it's like we just keep getting hit like, oh, and then we just got to pay it, right? It just falls on us. Yeah, it's sad, but look, here's what I do. I'm going to talk to my manager, and we're going to make you the best possible deal we can. I guarantee you that. All right, man, you're going to have to work with me. Man, you sitting there with a shark. You are blood in a shark's mouth. He can taste it. You just said everything I need you to say for me to know that I'm about to make 5, 10. I might make a $1,200, $1,500 commission on you because I'm gonna make 10 grand for the dealership. These people are not your friends. And look, I'm the bad news first person. Look, I don't leave you there though. So I'm not the person who sits here and just goes bad news. But I gotta tell you that that you shopping the way they have programmed you to shop is bad. I can't sit here and make it look like you guys are doing okay. You know, just keep going that way. Let me teach you some negotiating tactics to go back and forth with these car salesmen that negotiate 3 times a day, 15 times a week on cars, and you never know what they own the car for, but I'm going to give you some tactics where you could go toe-to-toe with them, and you can't win. You don't know what they own the car for. You don't know. The name of the game is step out of it, step back, relax at home where you're in control, use the internet, a beautiful tool that allows us to shop for TVs, shop for groceries. We can shop for all of these things comparatively, right? Using the internet. We just use it for cars. That's exactly, Sherwin. That's why we need the 25-5. Exactly. How can you tell if you're getting a deal when you're looking for a vehicle that is being marked up? Multiple offers. It's very simple. We expose the dealers who are charging high prices. Let's go back to Teddy's deal. I would assume that on Teddy's BMW here, $73,000 BMW, he said his highest offer, he said, I received 10 offers. I only used the scripts provided. That's the email scripts. closed on a 2024 BMW i4 M50, $856 a month. His highest offer during this process was $1,123. There's no doubt that that was a marked up offer. That dealer is going to sell that car to someone else. But when we shop, we're talking to people online by email, and we're getting their best offers. Some dealers' best offers are marked up. That's just what they do. They would rather not sell the car to us because they know someone's going to walk in tomorrow that I could sell this car to for $1,100 a month. No problem. It's just not going to be me, or it's not going to be one of us. But that's okay, because if they weren't selling it for $1,100 a month, they wouldn't have made that offer to Teddy when he gave them everything they needed to make him an offer. Here's our offer, Teddy. Take it or leave it. It's $1,100 a month. No problem. But I got another offer for $986, and his best offer ends up being $856 a month. So it's not about negotiating with dealers with markups. It's about exposing the dealers who don't have markups. It's about exposing the dealers who have markup. Okay, yep, I can see you just, yep. Hey, this one dealer said it's no rebates on the car. He didn't include the rebates in our offer. That's fine. Hey, this other offer over here, great. Oh, he says it's $5,000 in rebates that he gave me. What's the difference? One's a liar who wants to make a lot of money, and one's not. Now, if you were in that dealership negotiating back and forth with that liar, you can't win. You might think, oh, he took off $5,000, but he still has another $7,000 that he's not taking off no matter what. He'd rather you leave and say, hey, look, well, I'm not going below that. That's our best offer. That's not the market's best offer. That's just our best offer. He's not lying to you. But his competitor that's 45 miles away, oh, his best offer is $10,000 less. This is how different the market is. This is why the 25-5, Stephen, is Sherwin, is it's just the beautiful. Wait, we just got the live paused on Instagram. Oh, I think we hit the time on Instagram. Well, either way. So that is what that's the name of the game. You have to see for yourself. Again, all of these people we've talked about so far, the people who I've shown you, you can see a lot of people in my comments on some of my bigger Facebook social media videos. You'll see people who just post, because we get DMs all the time, we get emails all the time, all the time. Yeah, I just use this. Like, I haven't even read some of these because I don't really. These emails are a little harder to bring in, because I like to bring in the pictures when people show me. I like when people send me their pictures as well as the details of the deal. But we get these all the time. Look, for my new car, I'm at 1.34%. So I know, thank you, capital letters, I know I got a good deal. Look, using your strategies, I calculate that I did not get a good lease deal on the Pathfinder, which turned out to be 1.64, but that won't ever happen again. Awesome, Kamika. Oh, Kanika, sorry, that looked like an M. So she assessed using the 1.5% rule. She did her math for her old lease, and she's like, dang, I didn't get a good lease deal last time. Perfect. But she's like, it's never going to happen again. Now this new lease deal, for my new car, I'm at 1.34. So I know I got a good deal. Further proof that there's about $10,000 difference in the price of these vehicles. But I'm saying that I'm paying the same price monthly that I was paying on the lower trim with way less features. Using your books and scripts, I negotiated with about 6 different dealers, with the best offer coming in right at 1.5, and then at the very top of my budget. I was about to move to my Plan B vehicle when a 1.38 offer came in, and then we have a counter offer calculator. She ended up getting another $15 off, bringing it to 1.3%. Look, I will be using your book to help my mom with her vehicle purchase next year, and for myself and my family for years and years to come. I just wanted to say thank you for putting yourself out there to teach people these skills. Much love and appreciation. Now, I got to start reading these emails more during the show. Thank you, Kanika. That just gives you a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. See, I don't care about nothing else but people keeping money in their house. That's what I hold myself accountable to. All of these people out here teaching stuff, and if they ain't getting results for their people, they shouldn't be teaching. I don't care about no followers. What the heck do I care about followers if the people who following me ain't saving money on cars? What does that do? Oh, you got 2 million followers. Who's saving money on cars? Who's not going to dealerships? Who's sitting at home enjoying car shopping? Probably about 50,000 of them. That's who I care about. I appreciate all the 2 million, but the 50,000 is who. They're the ones who results. That's all I care about, man. Thank you, Kanika. That's beautiful. I might have to read one more. Hold on, because I pulled these into the show, but I'm like, I haven't read them in a while. Hold on. Thank you so much for these resources. I read your entire book last night. I've already been underway and trying to put my deal together. What a great book. I have my quotes together, and now I'm ready to take the next step with the calculator. We have like 5 calculators in the book that we invented. Can't get them on Google. Literally counter offer calculators, budgeting calculators, stuff that, we invented. Wrote the code for it. It's in there. However, he just said, however, I do see your lease calculators for 12,000 miles per year. Do you have something I can use for 15 per year? So that was just a question that he wrote to me, just saying how great the book was and him having a strategy. And then, once he gets to the next stage, he sees we adjust the miles after. So again, it's all step by step. When we accept offers at 12, but we know we need 15, we always see sometimes because people think ahead, they're like, wait, hold on, I need 12, I need 15, I need 18, but it said we shop for 12. But once you shop for 12 and we're reviewing our offers, that's when I say, now here's when we pick the best offer and then adjust our mileage with that dealer. We need to find the best dealer first, then we adjust our offers. Okay? But yeah, I mean, it does. See, it's the confidence of having a plan. You can hear that when he was writing, he's like it's different. I'm shopping with a plan now. I'm not out here winging a $50,000 transaction, kind of shooting from my hip, hoping I don't make a mistake. It's like I have an actual process to follow, designed by a car dealer or a car salesman. I wouldn't call myself a dealer, even though for 4 years I ran a brokerage. So technically that is a dealer, but I've been inside car dealers for 14 years. So we wrote the process from the inside. So, okay. All right. Let's go, Dolan. I know, Dolan, you said we trying to go 2 hours, but I don't know, man. Like, text me in the private chat, man. I don't know about it. After about like my voice, let me drink some water. If you lease, do you have to pay the taxes? They go in the payment. When we lease, we have a template that we send out to dealers. And here's what it says. You have to tell dealers how to give you the offer. Part of the problem with why your shopping online is not working, why it's frustrating, it's 2 reasons. 80% of dealers are here to make it hard, because making it hard makes them more money. They are trying to frustrate you to get you to come in. That's why you notice, who notices, type right. Type right if you notice this. One of the first questions that you're going to get when you're on the phone with a dealership is, when can you come in? Is that right or right? Right? You're not even on the phone with them for more than a couple minutes before, hey, when can you come in? Correct? Right? Okay. Thank you. So that's the goal. I need to get this person here by any means necessary. So they're going to say a bunch of stuff that's not true. So I see you, Sherman. I see you, Sugar Mom. A bunch of stuff that's not true. Like what? Your best deal is going to be if you're here. Not true. Your best deal is going to, we only, if you come here, I guarantee your presence is your leverage. Not true. Your presence is no leverage. Can't see the market when I'm sitting in your dealership. So you have to tell dealers how to quote you because they're going to quote you the way they want to quote you. So we always request our quotes with 12,000 miles per year, first month's payment only, due at signing. So I'm giving you my first payment, I'm driving off. Now, when we shop for purchases, we shop all in numbers. We shop all in. Tax, title, fees, everything included. Now, when we're shopping for a new car purchase or even a used car, we're looking at all in numbers because remember, we're getting our financing separately. Then we give the dealer a chance to beat it. We do a bid for that. That's called the bank bidding war. So, but we have a particular way that we're requesting our offers for us to be able to compare them. We don't let them, and even when we send out our templates, you're going to see some dealers, the 80%, don't listen, which is why we have to send stuff twice. Copy and paste is going to be your best friend when you're buying a new car, used car, using what we teach. Copying and pasting, copying and pasting. Now, we're requesting them to put the lease in the payment, but part of what we need for them to even give us an offer is they need to know what vehicles we're looking at, what are our options, what are we open to, colors, equipment, trim level. Do we have multiple options that we can consider with them? They need to know what we do for a living because they need to know if do you have any rebates? They need to know what memberships we're a part of, AAA or, Costco. We had somebody who got a Volvo last year. She said she got an extra $1,000 being a Costco member. That was a California deal. So all of this stuff matters. When a dealer is trying to give you their best offer, they need to know everything you qualify for. There's conquest rebates or loyalty rebates. What vehicles do you have in your household now? Do you have any competitive vehicles? That's why in our template, we fill all this stuff in, then we send it off. So when you're trying to shop online, you're wondering, why can't I get, the shopping online? I tried it, it's not working out because you don't know what to give the dealer. They need the zip code to factor in your taxes. This is stuff that you're thinking when they ask you this, you're like, wait, why are they asking me for this? They're trying to explain. No. So you're going to just go in and say, well, man, this is frustrating because you don't actually have an online shopping process that works. You're winging it. And you don't realize that I can't even shop online because I'm defensive because the dealer is going to ask me for things that they need to make me an offer. And I think they're asking me for it because they're trying to get too much information out of me. Why you want to know what kind of vehicles I got? I'm not trading nothing in. Well, because we need to know, do you qualify for any rebates? That's why the templates that we have are so valuable, and that's why we save so much time, because we're just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, everything that's necessary for them to give us an offer, they have it. So we literally cut through all the garbage that most shoppers are going through with them. Most shoppers, they're not giving them the information. It's a horrible experience for both people, the shopper and the car salesman, because they're like, yo, this person just, man. And they really are like, yo, if you just come in, and the person's gonna come in because they just don't know. Like, we can't do this. You don't realize that we need this information. But our process is great for both people. Because you fill in the templates. All right, yo, here's what I do for a living. Here's my cars. Here's my deadline. Here's my profession. Here's my memberships. Boom, here you go. These are the parameters, how I want you to quote me. Car salesman gets it and like, oh, wow, okay, good. This is more than any customer's ever given me. Hey, let me see what I can do for them. Easy for both people. The people that sell us cars, they're only working for us for like 20 minutes. They love us. The dealers that win the bids for us, they're like, man, thank you. Because how long did I got a video, I posted it. Some of you saw it. And when I got my Infiniti truck, I recorded it. I asked them, how much time did this whole thing take? He said, not even 20 minutes. Once we took out the test drive, not even 20 minutes when I bought my pre-owned Infiniti. And it was a below market, 42% off the new price. It was $54,000. It was the best. Long story. I ain't going to go into all of that. But it was a great used car deal and literally 20 minutes of the car salesman's time. Meanwhile, they got people in there 5 hours that ain't buying a car. Been there 5 hours, negotiating back and forth. They're making them a good offer, and they just like, well, I don't know. You know how many times I was making a person a below market offer and they just wouldn't take it? But I know why they wouldn't take it, because they didn't know it was a below market, or they didn't know. They're like, man, I'm like, listen, you're really walking away from, like I'm telling you, we're at a triple net deal. We're like $500 over triple net, which means no dealer can, like, we're really in the black. Forget invoice. You got sticker price, you got invoice price, you got holdback, then you got the tissue.